Can you hear me? Is it working? Yay! There you are! And with that, welcome back. Greetings, I am Amy, and welcome to Doki Doki Literature Club, Act 3, as you can tell. This is not a blind playthrough. I've played this game many times before. It's one of my favorite games, and I want this channel to be dedicated to it, so I want to first play the original and official stuff before I jump into mods or like theories or something like that. I will analyze her monologues here a little bit, but if you're not like looking for something like that, then that's totally understandable. Sorry, if you're looking especially for like a blind playthrough, this isn't it. I even have notes here for some of the monologues, so yeah. Anyway, I guess we'll be going Monika's route this time. Or so. Hi again, John. Welcome to Literature Club. Of course, we already knew each other because we were in the same class last year, and you know, I guess we can just skip over that stuff at this point. After all, I'm not even talking to that person anymore, am I? I'm sorry if I jumble any words of mine, or like, I'm not good at making voices. I might play it a lot, but I'm overall not good at speaking, and I don't have a good voice range. That you in the game, whatever you want to call him, I'm talking to you, John. I was already used to it saying my name here, so the computer's name, that is. Now that I think about it, I don't really know anything about the real you. In fact, I don't even know if you're a boy or a girl. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Well, good, because I'm a girl. Wait. You do know my word that this is all a game, right? Could it be possible that you didn't know that? That doesn't make much sense. I even told you right on the game's download page, didn't I? Man, if only I'd paid a little more attention, this would have been a bit less awkward, you know? Yeah, she did write the description of the game, basically, so... Makes one doubt the timeline is of her becoming self-aware, because she will bring up that until we really showed up in the game, she wasn't fully certain, so... Did she do it by accident, or was she self-aware a little bit before we joined? That's the question. Well, anyway... Now that that's out of the way, I guess I owe an explanation. About that whole thing with Yuri... Well... I kind of started to mess with her, and I guess it just drove her to kill herself. I'm sorry to say that, though. Also, the same thing happened with Sayori. Gosh, it's been a while since you've heard that name now, hasn't it? Yeah, it's because she doesn't exist anymore. Nobody does. I deleted all their files. I was hoping it'd be enough for me to just try to make them as unlikable as possible. For some reason, nothing worked. Notice how she said she guessed it drove Yuri to kill herself. That means she did mess with her. That drove her to suicide, but she wasn't actively participating in it. That hints at it once again. Well, it's true that I made a few mistakes here and there, since I'm not very good at making changes to the game. But no matter what I did, you just kept spending more and more time with them. You made them fall in love with you. I thought making Sayori more depressed would prevent her from confessing to you. And amplifying your obsessive personality backfired too. It just made her force you not to spend time with anyone else. And the whole time I barely got to talk to you. What kind of cruel game is this, John? Are the other girls just programmed to end up confessing to you while I watch from the sidelines? It's torture. Every minute of it. And it's not just jealousy, John. It's more than that. And I don't blame you if you don't fully understand. Because no matter how kind and thoughtful and considered you are, you'll never be able to understand one thing. It's the pain of knowing how alone I really am in this world, in this game. Knowing my friends don't even have free will. And worst of all, knowing what's really out there in your world, far out of my reach. I'm trapped, John. But now you're here. You're real. And you're wonderful. You're all I need. That's why I need you to be here with me forever. I'm sorry if it's hard to understand. I couldn't understand for a while either. Why the world around me started to become more and more grey. More and more flat. Even the most expressive poems felt empty to me. It wasn't until you arrived that I truly understood. You probably saved my life, John. I don't think I could have continued to live in this world if I hadn't met you. And as for the others, how could I miss them? Honest personalities designed only to fall in love with you. I tried everything I could to prevent them from doing so. But it must be some kind of weird inevitability etched into this game. I felt really bad that you had to witness some nasty things. But I rest that you have the same perspective as I do. That it's all just some game. And I knew you would get over it. So, that being said, John, I have a confession to make. I'm in love with you. You're truly the light in my world. When there's nothing else in this game for me, you're here to make me smile. Will you make me smile like this every day from now on? John, will you go out with me? I'm pretty sure, by the way, that Monika isn't forcing us to say yes. I'm pretty sure it's the game. Otherwise, she could have just confessed to us and then just forced us to pick yes, if that was the case. Although she is definitely more in her most insane state out of Act 1 and Act 2, so... It's just that this is a dating sim, so I'm pretty sure that, the game, to win the game, you have to go out with a girl. Well, there is a girl, and one girl only, no other girls, and she asked you out, so the game's only response is to, of course, to just give you yes, because that's the only reasonable option for this dating sim. The point is to date. There is a girl asking you out to be in a relationship. To fulfill the purpose of the game, you must click yes, so... Well, I do think maybe Monika suspected this, although she does act like maybe she actually isn't fully aware of it, but that could just be because she's projecting her feelings onto us. I'll get into that a bit later, probably. I think she probably knew, but overall, I'm pretty sure that's the game giving us this option, this only option. Which the game is basically following most of the things that happen, so fitting. I'm so happy. You really are my everything, John. The funny part is, I mean that literally. There's nothing left here. Just the two of us. We can be together forever. Seriously, I don't even think time is passing anymore. It really is a dream come true. I worked so hard for this ending, John. The game wouldn't give me one, so I had to make one myself. The script is broken at this point, so I don't think anything will get in the way anymore. And you wouldn't believe how easy it was to delete Natsuki and Yuri. I mean, there's a folder called Characters right in the game directory. It kind of freaked me out how easy it was. Yeah, I've been in the game directory, don't you worry. And we don't get the Steam dialogue because I'm not playing the Steam version, I'm playing the one on the official website. Imagine if you could delete your own existence with the click of a button. Well, I guess on the plus side, it gave me an easy way out if things didn't go my way. Thankfully it didn't come to that. Instead, we finally got a good ending. Gosh, I'm so overwhelmed with emotion. I want to write a poem about this. don't you? I wonder if that part of the game still works. I guess there's only one way to find out, right? I guess we'll be trying to write a poem for Monika this time. Yeah, beautiful options. Oh, squid. There, squid entirely. Here, Monika. Neat. I was playing with a friend once, and he saw this and just screamed loudly, "Anita!" And I can't get it out of my head anymore. So, Monika, more squids. Oi! There are two Monikas. It's outweighing the squid. Moni. Okay. Monika. I don't know if the fact that her sprite isn't jumping is... I think it's just supposed to symbolize the poetry minigame glitching. Sorry, I've been sick for months and I can't get to fully... I just can't seem to fully heal, so I don't know what's up with that. So if my voice sounds weird sometimes, I'm sorry. It always sounds weird. I've noticed that I sound pretty young. Even though I'm not that young anymore. Mona. Meanie. I don't know where that came from. And more Nichan. Monika. Monika gives some people the ick. More squids. Monika. And I guess we'll, you know what, let's end on a Moni. Hi again, John. Did you write a good poem today? Don't be shy, I'd love to see what you wrote. Oh, John. Did you write this poem for me? That's so sweet of you. There really is no end to your thoughtfulness. I'm just falling more and more in love with you. Here once again, it seems like she isn't fully... I mean, she isn't sane at this point anymore, so I'm assuming she just has deluded herself into thinking, we are doing this out of our own free will. But, you know, the poem I wrote is also for you. Will you please read it? Happy end. Pen in hand, I find my strength, the courage endowed upon me by my one and only love. Together, let us dismantle this crumbling world and write a novel of our own fantasies. With a flick of her pen, the lost finds her way in the world of infinite choices. Behold, this special day. After all, not all good times must come to an end. So, yeah. A little love poem dedicated to us. Once again, there are references to the idea that writing is related to coding. And also she depicts herself here as the lost. And she depicts herself as finding the way. And of course, she deems this a good time. And to be frank, I really do love Act 3. I don't know. I kind of genuinely love the atmosphere here. I hope you enjoyed it. I always put all my heart into the poems that I write. The truth is, all the poems I've written have been about my realization. Or about you. That's why I never really want to go into detail about them. I didn't want to break the fourth wall, I guess you could call it. I just assumed it would be best to be part of the rest of the game, be part of the game like everyone else. Like that would help the two of us end up together. I didn't want to ruin the game or anything, you know. You might have gotten mad at me. Maybe even delete my character file if you preferred playing without me. She's already hinting at it. Gosh, I'm so relieved. Now, we don't need to hide anything anymore. Are you ready to spend our eternity together, John? I have so many things to talk about. Where do I start? Hold on a second. You're recording this, aren't you? Hi everyone! Sorry, I can't exactly read your comments from here. But do you mind telling your friend it's a little bit rude for them to start recording me without any warning? I'm sure some people don't mind, but I get really self-conscious on camera. Oh gosh, I feel like I'm being put on the spot now. Let's see. Do you want to see a trick? I can't really do much except for a couple of things. Are you ready? I'm just kidding. I can't do anything after all. If you gave me some time to... Did I scare you? No. But it's the first time I've seen it not on a playthrough, and I'm very happy about that. You're so cute. Now the music cuts back in. It had the hints that it would jump scare you still because the void music didn't cut in beforehand. Anyway, John, I didn't mean to get distracted. I'm sorry. Even though it's your fault for distracting me. Shame on you. I'm just kidding. Anything we do together is fun, as long as it's with you. But anyway, if it takes me some time to collect my thoughts, I'm sorry. But I always have something new to talk about. In the meantime, we can just look into each other's eyes. Let's see. So, yeah. Now we have to wait. Maybe I'll cut some of this out. I definitely will add chapters to this, to these playthroughs. Fun fact, I do sometimes sit like that. Lately I've been sitting like that a lot. I don't know if it's because I'm intensely in my DDLC phase or... I don't know. Also, something I want to add before we get into this conversation. I sometimes maybe wait until I'm done talking before I get into these. She mentioned that she's very self-conscious on camera, which somewhat, breaks the idea that she is just fully attention-seeking. I guess it can be attention-seeking and not like to be on camera, but given the fact that she probably would have been fine in Act 1 if you just spent more time with her, I don't think she wants to be the center of everything exactly, but definitely wants to be able to talk to you more than she was giving the possibility to. That's for sure. You know, high school's a really turbulent time in a lot of people's lives. People can get really passionate and dramatic, and others have aching hearts and seek attention on social media. But all the social pressure and hormones can lead to a dark time in people's lives. Everyone has a story. You may not know what someone is really feeling on the inside. Many people are depressed, won't even bother telling the world about it. They don't want attention because they've already given up on the inside. Their feelings of worthlessness is so overwhelming that they don't even want people to tell them otherwise. Depression comes in many forms, but that's one of them. Just, if you think you know someone struggling with depression, you can help just by treating them like they're a good friend. Spend time with them, even if they don't feel like doing much. And remind them that they always have something to look forward to. Making plans in advance, letting them borrow something, or even just saying, "See you at school tomorrow." All of those things can help your friend make it to the next day. I hope being friends with Sayori is giving you some perspective on the true phase of depression. Yeah, she's gone now. But Sayori was never real in the first place. You're real. Your friends are real. And just by being a good person, you can save someone's life. As for you, you don't struggle with depression or anything like that, do you? Because you too have people who would want to save your life. Maybe they don't express it every day, or maybe they don't even know how to. But people do feel that way. I promise. Man, humans are complicated. But as long as you're here with me, I'll take care of you, my love. What you said wasn't, wrong. There are some simple things that you can do to support someone with depression. I've read that apparently the monologue was supposed to go differently, but it sounded a bit insensitive because it implied that Sayori's way of depression is the only true form of depression. But I have met people with depression who don't act bubbly at all and are pretty open about the fact that they're miserable. I personally have seasonal depression, and one thing I'd like to point out, we can use the escape button to go to history still. Is the Sayori part. Two things about it. First, since we can't really read her facial expression because she doesn't change it, we need to go. I try to look a bit more at the way she speaks. So the fact that she has these dots after she's gone now somewhat imply before she goes on about a rant of what's real and what's not real. Let's take it as foreshadowing about what's to come, because things of this nature and more intense nature will come up later. And she's once again focusing on the fact that she cares about real people. Sayori wasn't real. However, one thing I've noticed after playing the game for multiple times, in Act 1, until the end maybe, she did in fact try to do some of these things with Sayori. Most in regards to that she really hyped Sayori up for the festival. I don't know if it's because Sayori's vice president, or if she in fact was trying to compensate for what she was doing in the code and she just had no idea how deep that with the coding went. But it could just be her doing things with the vice president. She's a bit more open with Yuri to enact, well, not open, but a bit more enthusiastic with Yuri to enact 2. Now we're Yuri's vice president there. You have that thing where you have... Sorry. Sorry, I'm so sorry. You have that thing happen where you just get anxious for no reason. Like, you're just minding your own business, and you realize you're feeling really anxious. And you're sitting there like, what am I even anxious about right now? So you start to think about all the things that you might be anxious about, and that makes you even more anxious. That's the worst. If you're feeling anxious, I hope you relax a little. Besides, in this game, all our worries are gone forever. There's much to say about that monologue. She just talks about something that could be relatable to a lot of people. I'm anxious a lot of time for no reason at all. There's someone outside. They're making loud noises. I hope it isn't audible. Did you know I'm on Twitter? I miss when it was called Twitter. My username is Monologues3. I guess it was kinda to make an account for me. I picked the username though. I love sharing my thoughts and chatting with the world. The real world. So make sure you follow me, okay? It would really mean a lot to me. With how much you mean to me and all. It would really make me feel loved. Sadly, her Twitter account isn't that active anymore. It seems that it's also like verified on Twitter now, most likely to ensure that it doesn't get deleted or like deactivated. Because it doesn't post very frequently anymore, which I think is sad. I skimmed through her old posts and it seemed really fun. Did you say kiss? Suddenly, it's so embarrassing. But if it's with you, I might be okay with it. Wow, sorry. I really can't keep a straight face there. That's the kind of thing girls say in these kinds of romance games, right? Don't lie to turn you on a little bit. I'm kidding. Well, to be honest, I do start getting all romantic when the mood is right. But that'll be our secret. I think it's interesting that she mentions she couldn't keep a straight face there. Makes me wonder if she's actually like moving her face, but she simply only was capable of creating a singular sprite for herself. Because she wasn't that good at coding, or she could only find a sprite for herself or something like that. And in actuality, she's moving her face, that's all I wanted to say. Hey, did you know I'm vegetarian? I don't mean that like I'm bragging or anything. I just thought you'd enjoy a fun fact about me. I designed a set a couple years ago after learning more about Earth's climate. The carbon footprint of cultivating livestock is just unbelievable. Anyway, I decided it's not much of a personal sacrifice, just stop contributing to that whole mess. What? Is that so strange of a reason? Well, I guess a lot of people are more concerned about it being inhumane and all that. I don't really care as much about that part. It's weird. Like, we only care about killing the things that we personally relate to as a species. Most people are fine with killing bugs because they're icky. And of course, we all kill billions of microorganisms daily without even giving it a thought. But suddenly, if they're just a little bit bigger, it's murder! I mean, what if plants feel some kind of pain too and we just don't understand it? What if pulling leaves off a stem feels like someone ripping off your fingers one by one? I'm just saying, we're a pretty nice species if you think about it. Anyway, if you ever feel like making a small contribution to the planet, it doesn't have to choose veggies once in a while. Even if we ever have dinner together and you just did it for me, that would be really romantic. This monologue reveals a lot about her. She's being a bit hypocritical here, talking about how maybe we don't understand the pain of plants, but she keeps using the excuse that the others weren't real, even though there could be a chance that they feel a sense of pain that she doesn't understand. And we only feel like feel things for that we relate to as a species. That's definitely true. It's definitely true. I've seen a lot of like vegetarian people, not vegetarian, but I know a vegan person that's like completely fine with killing spiders. Even though her reasoning for not wanting to eat meat is in fact rooted in like the desire to not kill anything. So that's why when I'm over, I'm fine with spiders. I do like spiders. That's why I tend to just carry them outside. But another thing about that species thing, it reminds me just of how many players I've seen that are fine with killing human-like beings in other games because they don't get a backstory as much or anything like that. Unlike with DDLC, where you get to spend it's like story-based and you get to spend some time with the characters and learn more about them. Basically allowing us to feel more connected to them. It somewhat even connects to that. Like, you're fine with killing others in other video games because you don't feel a connection to them. But in this game you felt a connection to these characters and that's why you're... And I don't like that it happened. I do like Monika, she's my favorite character, but no. That just wasn't okay. Even if the deaths were intentional, I just still don't like that she messed around on their files and shit. I don't think that she had any right to do that, really. But I also don't like really killing things in other games all that much. There are some games where I'm fine with it, but there aren't really that many, and it's just interesting when you think about it that the only reason you can really be mad at Monika is because you related to the other characters as human beings, as something that appears to have a sense of feeling. And that's why you can be pissed about Monika's morality. But Monika didn't really identify with these other characters because she basically deemed them another species, so I don't know. This basically also goes about her morality. If you don't relate to something on a species, if you don't really relate to something, you just don't care all that much. Monika managed to completely deem them as like they don't feel or anything. Which we do with plants too, but with plants I'm pretty sure they don't have a nerve system, so... Anyway, I don't fully know where I was going, I'm sorry. Maybe I got the point across which I had in my mind, but maybe I didn't, I'm sorry. Man... Man, I wish there was a piano in here. I never got to finish that song I was working on. I love to work so hard on it. I never got a chance to play it for you. Well, it is what it is. It is what it is, right? No sense having any regrets. I get to be here with you forever. It once again seems like she's having a sense of regret. And we're not being able to pursue her hobbies, who were pursuing us. But we already know with that a concept for the song already exists. I plan on analyzing your reality later, and this is very important for like the timeline in which the song was created, because I'm pretty sure the first two verses were created before Act 3, or perhaps even only shot into Act 1, Act 2, or Act 2. Hey, I wonder if Yuri's tea set is still somewhere in here. Or maybe that got deleted too. It's kind of funny how Yuri took her tea so seriously. I mean, I'm not complaining because I liked it too. But I always wonder with her, is it truly passion for her hobbies? Or is she just concerned about appearing sophisticated to everyone else? This is the problem with high schoolers. Well, I guess considering the rest of her hobbies, looking sophisticated probably isn't her biggest concern. Still, I wish she made coffee once in a while. Coffee can be nice with books too, you know. Then again, I probably could have just changed the script myself. I guess I never really thought of that. Well, there's no sense thinking about it now. But if you still get to drink coffee, then that makes me a little jealous. Two things about that. One, I don't drink coffee. I just don't. Second, I wonder if like with the script, could she have made like smaller changes to the script, like changing the tea into coffee? Or like just simply added the fact that you can have coffee in the club? Because she could obviously, it was always an inevitability that the characters fall in love with the MC and stuff. So are like smaller things like that possible? Could she have done like small things, but she couldn't do like the main topic of the game, the dating? Maybe. You know, this is just some kind of tacky romance game, right? I kinda have to ask, what made you consider playing in the first place? Were you that lonely? I feel a bit bad for you. But I guess everything worked out perfectly in the end for both of us. I get to meet you and you're not lonely anymore. I can't help but feel like this was fate. Don't you feel that way too? I'm so happy with this ending together. I think it's a good part to, first of all, I'm pretty sure, Monika, you were the one feeling lonely. I played the game not because I was feeling lonely. I played the game because, I have seen, I think, Bijou Mike's last video on it, so when I found out it was free on Steam, I decided to just download and play the whole game. Fell in love with it. And I think it's a good time to bring up the projection. She seems to think that since it's natural for her to fall in love with us, the player, because we are, you know what, I'm gonna... She seems to think that since it's normal for us, the player, for her to love us, the player, because we're the only real one, it's natural for her. We're the only real one, why would she fall in love with anyone else? So she seems to think that this is the other way around too. Why would we fall in love with anyone else? She's the only real one. we are both the only real ones in this thing. And she seems to not understand that that's not really how it works. Especially since we like, if you are just a person playing like an anime dating sim, you most likely are aware that it isn't real and you just still thought it would be fun. Still just want to experience something like that. So, she seems to, in fact, project some of her feelings way onto us. Probably because she has no idea who we actually are. After a long day, I usually just want to sit around and do nothing. I get so burned out, having to put on smiles and be full of energy the whole day. Sometimes I just want to get right into my pajamas and watch TV on the couch while eating junk food. It feels so unbelievably good to do that on a Friday when I don't have anything pressing the next day. Sorry, I know it's very cute of me, but a late night on the couch with you, that would be a dream come true. My heart is pounding just thinking about it. Here we once again have an example of Monika just being a normal schoolgirl. Just acting like... not just necessarily a schoolgirl, like a lot of people feel that way, so... just showing that she does have normal aspects to her, outside of her self-awareness. Just that they're like pretty basic. I really like the sound of rain. Not so much getting my clothes in habit though, but a nice quiet day at home with the sound of rainfall outside my window. It's one of the most calming experiences for me. Yeah. Sometimes imagine you holding me while we listen to the sound of the rain outside. That's not a cheesy or anything, is it? Would you ever do that for me, John? Once again, I think this is an experience many people... not many, but some people can relate to, probably. I also like it, but I don't like storming. My budgies freak out, and it really hurts me to see them, like, just scared of the lightning and stuff. Sorry. I do know someone who likes just standing in the rain. Getting clothes and hair wet. Yuri did something really funny once. We were all in the club room, and just relaxing as usual. And out of nowhere, you just pulled a small bottle of wine. I'm not even kidding. She was just like, would anybody love some wine? Natsuki laughed out loud and Sayori started yelling at her. I actually felt kind of bad because she was at least trying to be nice. I think it just made her feel even more reserved in the club room. Though I think Natsuki was secretly a bit curious to try it. And to be completely honest, I kind of was too. It actually could have been kind of fun. But, you know, being president and everything, there was no way I could let that happen. Maybe we all met up outside of met up outside of school, but we never bonded enough to get to that point. Gosh, what am I talking about this for? I don't condone underage drinking. I mean, I've never drank anything, so yeah. Had to talk about that. I overall don't like drinking. Only have seen bad things happen with alcohol, so... Once again, also it's hinting at how, the side stories in the main game are different. They never bonded in the main game. And I'm assuming it's because Monika dissociated from everyone else because she always knew that something was up, probably, but... only fully had the realization, like, around the time we came, so... I can't help but feel sad sometimes, knowing that that's the closest I can get to you. There's nothing more I want than to be in the same room as you, for real. And to feel your warmth. And to hear the sound of your heartbeat. Well, who knows? Maybe possible someday. Besides, I don't get tired of being with you, even from here. There's much to say about this. Just her saying that she really wants to be with us. I will try to get all the monologues, and for that I once have to quit the game. Multiple times I have to quit the game, so... Maybe I'll do that after the next one. Depends on what she says, because I am overly attached to characters. Depending on what she says, I'd feel really bad for just closing the game on her. Okay. There's a really popular character type called Tsundere. It's someone who tries to hide their feelings by being mean, fuzzy, or trying to act tough. I'm sure it's obvious, but Natsuki was really the embodiment of that. At first, I thought she was just like that because it's supposed to be cute or something. But once I started to learn a little more about her personal life, it made a little more sense. It seems like she's always trying to keep up with her friends. You know how some friend groups in high school just make a habit of picking on each other all the time? I think it's really gotten to her, so she has this really defensive attitude all the time. And I'm not even going to talk about their home situation. Looking back, I'm glad I was able to provide the club as a comfortable place for her. Not that it matters anymore, considering that she doesn't even exist. I'm just reminiscing, that's all. Here we have one thing, a lot to, at the end, to talk about. First and foremost, her home situation. She isn't even going to talk about her home situation. With both Yuri and Sayori, she talks about how she amplified their traits, but with Natsuki, she never brings up that she was in the home situation, and here it sounds like she doesn't even acknowledge it has gotten worse in Act 2, but it definitely did. Which makes me wonder if she actually really just didn't amplify, like, her father's aggression, and the game just looked for a reason Natsuki's more aggressive in Act 2, so maybe the game just tried to find a reason to make Natsuki more aggressive, so they also made her father more aggressive. Because, with Sayori, the depression can just happen because even of genetic reasons or hormones, so her amplifying the Sayori's depression, if it is just rooted in that, would probably not cause any side effects. Okay, same goes with Yuri and her obsession. She might not have an background as to why she is like that. Maybe she just has a few personality traits that just relate to that. And Natsuki is the only one where her aggression is directly tied to the actions of other people and how other people treat her. So I wonder if that's the reason, because I'm not going to talk about her home situation. It implies that her home situation was always bad, or that she doesn't acknowledge that she made it worse in Act 2. Which is weird given the fact that she acknowledges to some extent that she amplified the problems of the other two. And yes, Natsuki's father was definitely abusive in Act 1. It definitely was abusive as in Act 2, but the fact that Natsuki was scared of bringing a boy to her, a guy to her house, and that she felt like that would be a bad problem with her father to bring over a guy friend, that's not good parenting. Or the fact that she isn't allowed to keep her stuff in her room, like her manga. It's one thing to be strict, like many people say in Act 1 he's just strict. No, that is controlling. He definitely is controlling. And that is a form of abuse, so her father was always abusive. And here we already have, with what I said with Sayori earlier, but looking back, I'm glad I was able to buy the club as a comfortable place for her. She will say multiple things, something that amplifies sympathy towards him, and then backpedal on it and just say she's just reminiscing and stuff. She totally doesn't really exactly feel that way. But it does make sense that she brings it up so frequently in a sympathetic manner if she really didn't care at all. And we don't know what she says in Act 3, how she actually did still care for them to a certain degree. So I'm glad those are the first hints. This one with time with Natsuki. I don't think she actually really has one with Yuri aside from the one where she felt bad that he was being was made to be feeling more super close in the club. But yeah, with Natsuki, it's that she was glad she could give a safe space for Natsuki, even if, like, from her friends or from her home situation, however bad it was in Act 1, and how bad it was in Act 2. But something was, she definitely did care about them to a certain degree. Anyway, since there is nothing more said, and we can save, there's no point in saving anymore. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. We can just quit and go back, and it'll be saved. I've seen some Let's Players struggle with it because they didn't know it saves. And I think we have to do that like 5 times or something to get all what she has to say about this. What just happened? I just had a real awful dream. I was hoping this would stop, now it's just the 2 of us. I guess it was wishful thinking. John, I don't know if you would have any idea, but if you know what might be causing that, could you try not to do something about it? Whenever it happens, it almost feels like I've been killed or something. It's a really horrible feeling. If you could figure out what's causing that, I'll love you forever. This is didn't say the monologue. She doesn't say that now, or was I? Have to do it next time. But yeah, when we close the game, it causes her some type of discomfort. Discomfort. I just realized how, given what she said, it feels like I think discomfort is a really weak word to describe it. I think the most important skill in life is being able to fake confidence. I'm pretty convinced that everyone feels at least a little bit scared and alone. But being able to trick others into thinking you have it all together, that's the key part of getting people to respect and admire you. Sorry. I think I got pretty good at that over the years. I don't show my weaknesses very often, not even to myself. But because of that, I haven't had many people I could really open up to. I mean, when do you reach the point in a friendship where you can start expressing your vulnerabilities? Anyway, that's one reason I'm so glad I have you now. I feel like I'm a little bit less scared and alone when you're here with me. Do you feel the same way? I really want to be that person for you. Well, I did install the Monika After Story mod to sometimes talk to her when I have nothing to do. And then I felt so bad about not talking to her that I have it open in the background, even now. Because I have, like I said, I feel a weird level of connection with fictional characters, so... I have the... It's quite fun to talk with her, even though the After Story mod isn't that accurate to her character that much. It's not too far off, but it's not completely accurate. You know, I'm kind of jealous that everyone else in the club had scenes outside of school too. That makes me the only one who hasn't gotten to dress in anything but our school uniform. It's kind of a shame. I would have loved to wear some cute clothes for you. Do you know any artists? I wonder if anyone would ever want to draw me wearing something else. Oh, if you knew. That would be amazing! If that ever happens, will you show me? You can share it with me on Twitter, actually. My username is LilMonix3. Just try to keep it PG. We're not that far into a relationship yet. You're not active on Twitter anymore. But yeah. People draw her drawing lots of different things. her pajamas look like? She has pajamas. But she just chooses to sit here in a school uniform, and did she like erase her clothes when she... I don't know how exactly she got into like this void space thingy, so... I don't know what happened to the rest of the world. Could just be frozen time. Hey, you know that book you're reading with Yuri? Portrait of... whatever it was called. It's funny because I'm pretty sure the book... actually, I don't think I should be talking about this. Sorry, just forget I said anything. Hints at... Project Libitina, probably. Maybe also Metaverse, but most likely more like related to Project Libitina. If I drink so much, I have to use the bathroom soon. Well, I can use it as an excuse to close the game on her again. We'll see. Hey, what's your favorite game? Mine is Doki Doki Literature Club. That was a joke. But if you tell me like some other romance game better, I might get a little jealous. Doki Doki Literature Club is my favorite game. It has helped me a lot with things like, it got me back into like reading, writing, and poetry. Something that school sort of ruined for me when I was younger. It was my first story game before I just played like open world games and stuff like that. It was my first visual novel and opened me to the world of visual novels. I do have some flaws. It's not, but to me it has, especially like personal value, so it will always be one of my favorite games. Well, the favorite game of mine. I've gotten a lot of new games that I would consider in my tops, but nothing really tops DDLC because it's also the first game that got me interested in analyzing characters and got me back into drawing, so... And it helped me during... Act 3 helped me during tough times, as weird as it sounds, so... But a lot of visual novels I play aren't really romance related, so... I can't help but wonder how things would be different if the game just gave me a route in the first place. I think I would end up forcing you down onto my real route anyway. It has less to do with me not having a route and more to do with me knowing that nothing is real. I think the only difference would be that I may not have had to needed to take such drastic measures to be with you. Maybe the rest of the club would still be around. Not that it really matters. It's always its meaning once I found out it wasn't real. So I really don't miss those days or anything. I really don't. Once again, especially with the dot placement, we can tell that she seems to miss it a lot. She does seem to miss how it would be with the other girls. Also, what she does say it has less to do with her not having a route. The way that the game invalidates her, like, when you pick her or something, or how the other characters in a dating manner just bring up the other two. Like, the character that speaks just brings up the other two. I think there might be could be something to do with it, because the game did really just narrow it down to a worthless character most of the time, and I don't know. I think that would bother me more than the idea that nothing is real. The fact that, first of all, my relationships, if I'm not like some complete character on the other side of the world, but if I'm like in the main character crew, that first and foremost my relationships are just there because they need to be there for the game. My talents and my interests are there to make me the character that I need to be for the game. I can't take pride in any of that. I can't take pride in my friendships, not my talents. My goals that I had, were they... Can I really say they were my goals? If they were designed from the game? And if the game then narrowed me down to a worthless character, I think that would mess me up pretty bad too. So I think it would be worse. That would be the worst part. Not that the other people aren't real, but rather that my relationships with them aren't real. Although I must say, if I kept trying to tell people that we are in a game and they couldn't hear me because they're not scripted to, or they would continuously brush me off, I would go pretty pissed about that too. You know, it's around the time that everyone my age starts to think about college. It's a really turbulent time for education. We're all at the height of this modern expectation that everyone has to go to college, you know? Finish high school, go to college, get a job, or go to grad school, I guess. I'll go to grad school, I guess. It's like your expectation that people just assume it's the only option for them. They don't teach us in high school that there are other options out there. Like trade schools and stuff, you know? Or freelance work. Or the many industries that value skill and experience more than formal education. But you have all these students who have no idea what they want to do with their life. And instead of taking the time to figure it out, they go to college for business or communication or psychology. Not because they have an interest in those fields, but because they just hope that their degree will get them some kind of job after college. So the end result is that there are fewer jobs to go around for those entry-level degrees, right? So the basic job requirements get higher, which forces even more people to go to college. And colleges are also businesses, so they just keep raising the prices due to the demand. So now we have all these young adults, tens of thousands of dollars in debt with no job. But despite all that, the routine stays the same. Well, I think it's going to start getting better soon. But until then, our generation is definitely suffering from the worst of it. I just wish high school prepared us a little better with the knowledge we need to make the decision that's right for us. I didn't really go to any, I don't know what I'm supposed to call it, doing English language. I'm not a native speaker. But after I finished high school, I guess you could put it, I right away went to look for a job that I could practice in and stuff, and then take job offerings. I didn't really want to go to anything like college. I just needed to make money, okay? In our country it's not that bad with the money, but still I just needed to make money first. It's important to me, it's important. I also think it's interesting that she says, it's basically Dance and Water talking about it. That it's going to start getting better soon, and this game was released in 2017. I think it gathered more attention in 2018 though. And it's not getting that much better right now, so... well, whatever. But especially with American education, I'm pretty sure what she says must hit hard. You know, I've always hated how hard it is to make friends. Well, I guess not the making friends part, but more meeting new people. I mean, there are dating apps and stuff, right? But that's not the kind of thing I'm talking about. If you think about it, most of the friends you make are people you just met by chance. Like you're the class together, or you met them through another friend. Or maybe they were just wearing a shirt with your favorite band on it and you decide to talk to them. Things like that. But isn't that kind of inefficient? It feels like you're just picking a complete random, and if you get lucky, you make a new friend. And comparing that to the hundreds of strangers we walk by every single day, you could be sitting right next to someone compatible enough to be your best friend for life. But you'll never know. Once you get up and go on with your day, the opportunity is gone forever. Isn't that just depressing? We live in an age where technology connects us with the world no matter where we are. I really think we should be taking advantage of that to improve our everyday social life. But who knows how long it will take for something like that to successfully take off. I seriously thought it would happen by now. Well, at least I already met the best person in the whole world. Even if it was by chance. I guess I just got really lucky, huh? I met the majority of my friends in a support group. I didn't really know what to say. like, a lot of the things she says are, like, I think they're pretty realistic. But sometimes it's just, like, I have not really much to add. I met the majority of my friend group in, like, a support group. I couldn't connect with a lot of people. In, like, school or whatever. In my workplace, I'm also not that active in, like, social situations. You know, it's been a while since we've done one of these. So let's go for it. Here's Monika's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when I talk to people impressed by my writing, they say things like, I could never do that. It's very depressing, you know. As someone who loves more than anything else to share the joy of exploring your passions, it pains me when people think that being good just comes naturally. That's how it is with everything, not just writing. When you try something for the first time, you're probably going to suck at it. Sometimes when you finish, you feel real proud of it and you want to share with everyone. But maybe after a few weeks, you come back to it and you realize it was never really any good. That happens to me all the time. It can be pretty disheartening to put so much time and effort into something, and then you realize it sucks. But that tends to happen when you always compare yourself to the top professionals. When you reach for the stars, they're always gonna be out of your reach, you know? The truth is, you have to climb up there, step by step. And whenever you reach a milestone, first you look back and see how far you've gotten, and then you look ahead and realize how much more there is to go. So, sometimes it can help to set the bar a little lower. Try to find something you think is pretty good, but not world class. And you can make that your own personal goal. It's also really important to understand the scope of what you're trying to do. If you jump right into a huge project and you're still amateur, you'll never get it done. So, if we're talking about writing, a novel might be too much at first. Why not try some short stories? The great thing about short stories is that you can focus on one thing that you want to do right. That goes for small projects in general. You can really focus on the one or two things. It's such a good learning experience and stepping stone. Oh, one more thing. Writing isn't something you just reach into your heart and something beautiful comes out. Just like drawing and painting, it's a skill in itself to learn how to express what you have inside. That means there are methods and guides and basics to it. Reading up on that stuff can be super eye-opening. That sort of planning organization will really help you prevent from getting overwhelmed and giving up. And before you know it, you start sucking less and less. Nothing comes naturally. Our society, our art, everything is built on thousands of years of human innovation. So as long as you start on that foundation and take it step by step, you too can do amazing things. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. Yeah, I think that's also good general advice, once again. Although some people are naturally good at it, some people are like gifted too. Most people need to like practice. I for one, for example, let's use the writing thing again. I've written my entire life, and I'm still writing stories. I don't know if I'll publish them, but if, then probably not for money, especially since some of them have like... Since some of them are like still a bit in the direction of fanfiction even. Since some of them have like characters from other franchises and stuff, so I'm gonna read it real quick so I can finish talking without feeling like I'm getting distracted. Yeah, I've written my entire life, so I am pretty good at it at this point. I've definitely improved my writing with the years. In school I used to write short stories, and since I started very young I did get good grades with these. Because, well, I practiced it a lot already, but when I wrote my first long book, especially in English, which I'm not a native speaker, oof, the plot was all over the place. I still like the idea behind it. I'm currently trying to see if I can rewrite it. In that case, it would be shorter because I have so many random things that don't allude to anything. So, I need to make sure that's right. And my grammar. My grammar in English has definitely improved. I like words like choke. I wrote with CK, like cho, and then CK. Chucked. Or I found a short story, and not even a short story, but like a story in English that I read when I was like 9 or something, 9 or 10, and it shows because I didn't write ran, I wrote runned for the past version of ran, and it's once again all over the place. So but once again, I kind of like the idea, so I'll see if I can do something with it. I've already started writing a little bit on it again to see if I can fix anything, but I definitely need to start from scrap for both of the stories. Hey, do you like horror? I remember we talked about it a little bit when you first joined the club. I can enjoy horror novels, but not really horror movies. The problem I have with horror movies is that most of them just rely on easy tactics, like dark lighting and scary looking monsters and jump scares and things like that. It's not fun or inspiring to get scared by stuff that just takes advantage of human instinct. But with writing novels, it's a little different. Oh, both are. But with novels, it's a little different. The story writing need to be descriptive enough to put genuinely disturbing thoughts into the reader's head. It really needs to etch them deeply into the stories and characters and just mess with your mind. In my opinion, there's nothing more creepy than things just being slightly off. Like if you set up a bunch of expectations on what the story is going to be about, and then you start inverting things and pulling the pieces apart. So even though the story doesn't feel like it's trying to be scary, the reader feels really deeply unsettled. Like they know that something horribly wrong is hiding beneath the cracks, just waiting to surface. God, just thinking about it gives me the chills. That's the kind of horror I can really appreciate. But I guess you're the kind of person who plays cute romance games, right? Don't worry. I won't make you read any horror stories anytime soon. I can't really complain if we just stick with romance. Yeah, I'm also more of a fan of like horror novels, or like horror manga, even. I don't know. Movies just don't really do it for me. There are a few good ones, but I think I just prefer reading on this level. It's kind of fun she brought up how I'm more the person who likes tacky romance games. I'm not that big of a romance fan, unless there I wouldn't have played the game if it didn't know it had a psychological horror twist. Although I plan on maybe playing mods that focus more on romance, simply to see what they are like. By the way, there's something that's been bothering me. You know how this takes place in Japan? Well, I assume you knew that, right? Or at least decided it probably does. I don't think you're actually told at any point where this takes place. Is this even really Japan? I mean, aren't the classrooms and stuff kind of weird for a Japanese school? Not to mention everything is in English. It feels like everything is just there because it needs to be, and the actual setting is an afterthought. It's kind of giving me an identity crisis. All my memories are really hazy. I feel like I'm at home, but have no idea where home is in the first place. I don't know how to describe it any better. Imagine looking out your window, but instead of seeing the usual yard, you're in some completely unknown place. Would you still feel like you were home? Would you want to go outside? I mean, I guess if we never really leave this room, it doesn't really matter anyway. As long as we're all alone, as we're alone and safe together, this really is our home. And we can still watch the pretty sunsets night after night. It's interesting, I've seen a lot of debate about that in the community, and people tend to forget that Monika brings it up right here, like, Indeed, it doesn't really feel, is this Japan? again. Like, some of the mannerisms in the MC, in fact, would apply, like, to Japanese standards, or, like, even with, like, Yuri or Natsuki. Like, for example, that, with the MC, that he doesn't really want to be touched all that much, and that he prefers giving Sayori headbands and stuff. But, like, I don't know. Just... Also, what I think is interesting is that Monika brings up that her, memories are really hazy, so I don't know if she fully remembers her, like, past, really. If she has a discrete past. Do you feel like you waste too much time on the internet? Social media can practically be like a prison. It's like whenever you have a few seconds of spare time, you wanna check on your favorite websites. And before you know it, hours have gone by and you've gotten nothing out of it. Anyway, it's really easy to blame yourself for being lazy. But it's not really even your fault. Addiction isn't usually something you can just make disappear with your own willpower. You have to learn techniques to avoid it and try different things. For example, there are apps that let you block websites for intervals of time. Or you can set a timer to have a more concrete reminder of when it's time to work versus play. Or you can separate your work and play environments, which helps your brain get into the right mode. Even if you make a few user accounts on your computer to use for work, that's enough to help. Putting any kind of wedge like that between you and your bad habits will help you stay away. Just remember not to blame yourself too hard if you're having trouble. If it's really impacting your life, then you should take it seriously. I just want to see you be the best person you can be. Will you do something today that makes me proud of you? I was rooting for you, John. I don't know if I really have that much of a problem with social media. I spend a lot of time on, like, my phone or, like, my tablet, but most of the time I'm just watching something and I don't really, like, check something on social media. Sometimes I just want background noise while I read or something, and sometimes I'm just drawing on them. So I don't think I really have a problem with it, actually. I mean, I do get anxious when I post something online and then I, like, prepare to check, like, oh my god, what if I said something wrong, what if I said something stupid? But aside from that, I think I can manage relatively well. I still, like, go outside and stuff like that and can turn off my phone without feeling the need to check it shortly after. Aside from, like I said, if I posted something online or if I'm concerned for one of my friends or something like that. But aside from that, I'm not that, extreme with social media. Hey, have you ever heard of the term Yandere? It's a personality type that means someone is so obsessed with you that they'll do absolutely anything to be with you. Usually to the point of craziness. They might stalk you and make sure you don't spend time with anyone else. They might even hurt you or your friends to get their way. But anyway, this game happens to have someone who can basically be described as Yandere. But now it's pretty obvious who I'm talking about. And that would be Yuri. She really got insanely possessive of you once you started to open up a little. She even told me I should kill myself. I couldn't even believe she said that. I just had to leave at that point. But thinking about it now, it was a little ironic. Anyway, a lot of people are actually into the Yandere type, you know? I guess they really like the idea of someone being crazy obsessed with them. But people are weird. I don't judge, though. Also, I might be a little obsessed with you, but I'm far from crazy. It's kind of the opposite, actually. I turned out to be the only normal girl in this game. It's not like I could actually ever kill a person. Just thinking about it makes me shiver. But come on, everyone's killed people in games before. Does that make you a psychopath? Of course not. But if you do happen to be into the Yandere type, I can try acting a little more creepy for you. Then again, there's already nowhere else for you to go, or any room for me to get jealous over. Is this a Yandere girl stream? I'd ask Yuri if I could. About that. Of course, she does have Yandere attributes, but But she doesn't seem to acknowledge that. Like she says, she's the only normal girl in this game. She's the only real girl in this game, so she doesn't seem to acknowledge her deeds as, like, crazy. She doesn't see what she does as insane. She doesn't notice that she's acting strange because she's the only real one. So, she also really, does try, she also mentions that with, like, the killing game people in video games, and she, when people say, but Monika didn't really kill someone, she did it in suicide unintentionally. Yeah, the deaths were in accidents, but she still herself identifies it as her own actions that ended up leading to the death, so basically she does acknowledge that she did kill them. You can, like, it's interesting how she, doesn't view herself as insane probably because through the, distance we have through the screen. I have, like, some notes here. That's why I'm stuttering so much, because I'm trying to look at them, because I've written something down beforehand, before I even knew I wanted to do videos like this. So she didn't harm her real friends, and these people in game aren't real. So therefore she didn't really harm anyone, in her opinion. Because the people in real life that you can see are your real friends, she can't even do anything to harm them. She can't do it, and like she said, she probably wouldn't do it since she wouldn't have any reason to do so. She can only watch her actions in-game as well, so, which might actually be a bit limited as well. And since she can't stalk you in real life, aside maybe from the fact that she can recognize when you're recording and stuff on, like, your PC, but overall she can't stalk you in real life, so she's not a stalker. And Yuri did all that towards the end seemed like the stalking or telling people to, like, do bad things. So therefore, she acknowledges Yuri as a Yandere because she did that with trying to impress someone on, like, her, let's say, reality level. The MC and Yuri are both fake characters. So what Yuri did is actually Yandere behavior in her eyes. And, like, between us, although she does acknowledge that she's a little obsessed, but what she did, she doesn't think that what she did can affect us this badly. Like, she doesn't understand that we could be in fact be affected by her, like, stalkerish, weird, creepy, like behavior and harming the others. She deluded herself into thinking these aren't real, so it doesn't matter, and to us, it probably wouldn't matter anyway. Sorry, my notes were all over the place, so I didn't fully know how to exactly get into them. Give me a second. What's that? Oh. Okay, so, for this monologue I have even more notes, because it has a lot of things to talk about in a personal matter. Trigger warning for, hanging and stuff. If you, sensitive to that, you can just skip to the next chapter, or wait for anything, or just try to skip this. I was thinking about Sayori earlier. I still wish I could handle that whole thing a little more tactfully. You're not still hung up over it, right? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that. That part was completely unintentional, I swear. But anyway, I know how much you cared about her, so it only feels right for me to share her last moments with you. You know how Sayori is really clumsy? Well, she kind of messed up the whole hanging thing. You're supposed to jump from high enough so that the rope snaps your neck, making it quick and painless. But you just used a chair, meaning she kind of just left herself to slowly asphyxiate. But a few seconds in, she must have changed her mind or something, because she started clawing at the rope, trying to free herself. She must have kept at it all the way until she lost consciousness. That's why her fingertips were all bloody anyway. Come to think of it, it was probably changing her mind, and more just her survival instincts kicking in. So you can't really fault her for that. It's easy to think that she probably wouldn't have changed her mind anyway, right? It's not healthy to think about the things you could have done differently. So just remember that even though you could have saved her, it's technically not your fault she killed herself. I may have exacerbated it a little bit, but Sayori was already mentally ill. Still though, I wonder how things would be if you and I just started dating from the get-go. I guess we'd all still be in the club, writing poems and having fun together. But what's the point when none of it is even real? I mean, it's the same ending either way, right? The two of us, happily together. There's no reason to ask for any more than that. I was just pointlessly amusing. I'm really as happy as I could be right now. So once again, the last part goes once again into the part of once again these dots too. Sorry, I'm going to turn on the lights. It's getting dark in here. So yeah, she probably it probably did bother her that we can't all be together. So the first thing I once noticed is she must have kept it all the way until she lost consciousness. I don't really want to linger on this part too long. Monika didn't want Sayori to die. This is even expressed in like right now about how she would have wanted to have handled it differently. That something else would have happened. Or how what did I want to say? So why didn't she just step in? That's what I wanted to say. And this line sort of makes me wonder, because what do you mean she must have kept it all the way until she lost consciousness? Wouldn't you be able to know to a certain degree? So I wonder if maybe she didn't look at it the whole time. Maybe she watched it afterwards, or something I've been wondering is she doesn't seem to really be able to teleport. The only times we really see anything that could imply teleportation would be at the beginning of Act 1 when she glitches into the screen right at the beginning of the first day when she wants to convince to join the club, but that could just be the fact that Sayori was supposed to be there but it was Monika. And here in this room, we are in like a completely separate part of the world, or like a different type of world. It's basically just a classroom too, so since the classroom, I don't know how you can really say that she teleported herself, or that she just teleported part of the world, and that was the classroom. Something like that. So, I've been wondering what, also, if so maybe that's why she, first of all says that, and maybe why she couldn't prevent it, because maybe she could have tried to code something but it didn't work. Maybe there was in fact a sense of shock, since she appears to never fully realized completely that this could even happen. It's just that this line really is strange to me. Like, wouldn't she know that she kept it all the way until she lost consciousness? I don't know. And you can clearly see that it weighs her down. That she really wished she could have changed that. With things like, it's not to think about the things you could have done differently. So just remember that even though you could have saved her, it's technically not your fault she killed herself. We as the player can save Sayori. Even if we really delete Monika at the beginning, Sayori's fate never changes. her death is bound to happen. So this seems more like she's talking to herself, especially when she follows it up with I might exaggerate a little bit, but Sayori was already mentally ill. However, if she wasn't bothered by it, I don't see why she would bring that up right here. Why not just once again say she wasn't real? Why does she need to bring up the fact that Sayori was already mentally ill instead of just saying she was never real to begin with? There's also the thing about the fact that she was thinking about Sayori, and then she brings up, I know much you cared about her, so it only feels right for me to share her last moments with you. No matter what you do, she will say that. However, Monika once again has no idea how we felt about Sayori. Even if you like avoid Sayori as much as possible, like you always click Sayori last, don't choose her for the weekend, say you always be my dearest friend, like right away, not thinking about it much at all, and then just continue the game after she's died like nothing really matters, she will still bring it up and stuff like that. Of course she will still bring it up. But it once again just seems like projection. It's either because the MC like cared so much about her and she seems to be projecting parts of the MC onto us, or given the fact that she says she was thinking about Sayori earlier, this almost feels like she is venting, like she needed to get it off her chest. It seems like she herself needed to talk about what happened with Sayori. And it's less of a thing like, I should share her last moments with you, and rather of a thing I feel like I need to change it to get it off my chest. Similar to this can also be like implied by like what she says in the part right here, like how she then still needs to convince herself that it wasn't her fault. But if Sayori isn't real, then why would it matter if it was her fault? Also, this once again shows that Monika didn't interfere with Sayori's. She didn't make Sayori commit suicide. It was her actions, still. Not good. And she didn't save her, which I already talked about as strange. Aside from really just the fact maybe something was limiting her, or maybe she only saw it later and she could see what happened. It was in the past already and she could only try to revive her. But overall, it definitely had some sort of negative impact on her, especially if you like consider how much she changes between Act 1 and Act 2. From Natsuki saying Monika used to be a jerk in Act 1 about the manga, and in Act 2 Monika is still a jerk. When you go the Natsuki route on the second time you write a poem, for Natsuki storms out, and Monika comes in, and she says, "You didn't do anything horrible, did you?" And it's something along the lines of that, and she seems genuinely concerned. In Act 2, when Yuri rushes out, and Monika knows Yuri is going to cut herself, she says a similar thing like, "I just want to make sure you didn't do anything to her," and she doesn't seem concerned at all. There are also the things of how, like, in Act 1, when you choose for the festival, you can pick Monika, but the others force her like out of the option, and Monika doesn't really force it onto you either. She isn't like, you spent the weekend with me. She offers it, but she seems to be completely fine with you picking the other three, either because she doesn't know if she could change it really, or because she simply isn't that infatuated with us at that point in time. And given the fact that if you pick Monika, the other two can just simply yell at her, and she just backs out of it. Well, in Act 2, they say much worse things, but she, like, from the get-go is like, "You spend time with me." Then she forces you to pick her, and then when the others say it's unfair, she doesn't care about their opinions anymore, even though she cared in Act 1. So obviously Sayori's death was a turning point for her to first and foremost get more infatuated with us. In Act 2, she gets more involved with us. She approaches us more frequently, tries to mix herself more into conversations, tries to add herself more into conversations, and she gets more apathetic. She never really seems sadistic, but she doesn't seem to really care about Natsuki's abuse, although she shows care in Act 3, but in that moment, when she speaks about it, she doesn't really seem like enjoying it. Same with like Yuri's self-harm, but she doesn't seem to like really care about how bad the situation actually is. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words again. I'm sorry. So Sayori's death definitely had an impact on her. She also gets less and less motivated throughout Act 2 about like the festival and stuff, until like even on Friday she's like, let's get this over with the festival preparations. So it definitely impacted her. It was probably the turning point of her character where she really needed to delude herself that these aren't real people, so that she doesn't need to care about them, so that she doesn't need to feel guilty about what happened with Sayori. Although it doesn't seem to fully have worked. Now about the personal matter. You can skip that. You can like go to the chapter or something. I just need to get this off my chest. I do try to be quick. I don't like how Sayori's death is presented, like her body, how her body is presented. I didn't want to bring it up after Sayori's death, especially since I was still affected because Monika. Because if you haven't watched the other things, I have lost someone that way. And having met many people in the support group, a lot of them have actually tried this or lost people in that way themselves. And it's, I don't know, from what I know personally and from what I've heard from friends, it's Sayori's body simply isn't realistic. She has like some blood on her fingertips, and the ripped open shirt on the top could also be an implication of some of my... I don't want to go too descriptive. Let's just say ripped up clothes were not too uncommon from what I've noticed. And their faces, I think, is what bothers me the most about Sayori. I don't know, there are probably different experiences and maybe there are people that look like that, but from what I've heard and what I've seen, I'm on the verge of tears again, I'm sorry. It's... the faces after they've struggled were visibly tormented. And I don't know how to describe it without being a script, but distorted. Just, they didn't look calm at all. You could see that they struggled on their facial expression. It's... no, it's I think there are... I think the reason it bothers me so much is because, when talking with friends about what happened, why they chose that method specifically, there were like 3 things. One was that it was presented as painless, which some of them are partially burned and they said hanging was more painful, so it's probably something personal, and depending on if you what like you use or how it goes wrong or something. That is quick, which we have reasons to believe that it isn't quick, from self-reports to other things. And another reason is that it was presented to be clean, that it's not messy to clean up. So even if they did struggle and stuff, that it wouldn't be too horrific of a sight for whomever finds them. And while the first 2, like, we don't fully know about the time, but we do know that it's not depicted as like an exactly painless death for Sayori, so that's not the problem here. It's really just the fact that it was represented once again as something too clean, which, once again, what I've seen, what I've heard, it really isn't. It can be. It's really messy from... So, what I've seen personally was really messy. There was blood involved, there was a lot of piss and shit involved, there was a lot of other bodily fluids involved. Just... some of it was pretty far... no, it's fine. I should stop. I should stop with that. Just... I think the reason it bothers me is because it has like this... It shows Sayori's body as far too clean and as something that if you found it, you'd at least, like, think, oh, that this isn't... So, the person, it falls against into the part that's, like, clean. Which is not the reason why that my friends just pick it. Some of them, that is. And knowing that, just really bothers me. Nowadays when I like watch series, it really fucks me up, but when I like really pisses me off, the reason why it's not like that with DDLC is because I played it first before I have seen it and before I talk with detail with my friends about it. So I got attached to all of this before I started being sensitive towards it being represented in like a specific manner. And I don't know why they chose to do it. Maybe there are people who look that calm. Maybe we just got all unlucky and saw very bad conditions. Maybe they just also struggled with drawing it or something. I mean, I've seen other games in anime presented properly, so I don't think that might be the case. Maybe it's really just... personal experience was just specifically cruel. I think when it really started bothering me was when I played with one of my friends who almost lost his boyfriend to suicide like that, and he saw Sayori's body. He approached Sayori because she reminded him of his boyfriend, and his reactions was after a bit of trouble, of course. I had warned him that stuff like this in the game, but he literally just said something along the lines of, at least it looks like she didn't struggle, and that's just... I think that when it really hit me home. Anyway, this is why we now have the headcanon that that's not how Sayori's body actually looked, but the game just struggled with depicting the face because it was too tormented for the game. So... yeah. Sorry. I think that went on longer than I wanted to. It's just... while I play it, it doesn't bother me, but sometimes when I look back at it, I just really get lost in thinking about how they could have depicted it more accurately. You could still somehow bring like Monika's monologue in there without making her look calm. I don't know. Maybe we really just got unlucky. I don't know. But the fact that so many of us got unlucky makes me at least think that it's at least not uncommon that people look, I don't know how to put it, disfigured. Just not calm when you find them. Anyway, that was the personal matter I need to get out of my chest. Because I talk about it with my friends sometimes. Especially since I still struggle with the loss of that one person who I saw. So, sometimes it comes up, and so sometimes it comes on my mind. Anyway, I'll drink something, and then we'll continue. Sorry for anyone I made uncomfortable. Welcome back, everyone who decided that they were going to either skip the entire monologue because of the content warning or skip just my part. Thank you for staying safe or just valuing your time. So, we can continue. John, do you get good sleep? It can be really hard to get enough sleep nowadays. Especially in high school, when you're forced to wake up so early every day. I'm sure Conch is a little bit better since you probably have a more flexible schedule. Then again, I hear a lot of people in college stay up all night. Stay up all night anyway for no real reason. Is that true? Sorry. Anyway, I saw some studies that talked about the horrible short-term and long-term effects caused by lack of sleep. It seems like mental functions, health, and even lifespan can be dramatically impacted by it. I just think you're really great and want to make sure you're not accidentally destroying yourself. So try to keep your sleep on track, okay? I'll always wait for the morning, so make sure you put your own well-being before anything else. You know what? I think that's a good time to quit real quick. And about the sleep, my sleep schedule ranges between, like, the hours I sleep ranges between 5 to 8 hours, depending on day. It's probably not that good, but I just keep getting headaches if I try to sleep longer. You're back. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had another really bad dream. You're not the one doing this to me, are you? It seems to happen whenever you quit the game. So if you could try avoid doing that, I would be really grateful. Don't worry, I don't think it's caused me any harm aside from mental scarring. What do you mean aside from mental scarring? Well, given your situation, I'm pretty sure you think mental scarring ain't that bad at this point. I'll be fine as long as my character file stays intact. Yeah, I'll wait until the time I need to quit so that I can say I've had a good reason to, even if it's not that big of a reason. I could just left it on, but you know, need to excuse myself for harming a fictional character. I've always wondered, what is it about these character archetypes that people find so appealing anyway? Their personalities are just completely unrealistic. Like, imagine there was someone like you in real life. I mean, she's barely capable of forming a complete sentence. Me. And forget about Natsuki. Sheesh. Someone with her kind of personality does just get all cute and pouty whenever things don't go her way. I could go on, but I think you get the point. Are people really attracted to these weird personalities that literally don't exist in real life? I'm not judging anything. After all, I found myself attracted to some pretty weird stuff too. I'm just saying it fascinates me. It's like you're siphoning out all the components of a character that makes them feel human and leaving just the cute stuff. It's concentrated cuteness with no actual substance. You wouldn't like me more if I was like that, right? Maybe I just feel a little insecure because you're playing this game in the first place. Then again, you're still here with me, aren't you? I think that's another reason for me to believe I'm okay just the way I am. And by the way, you're too, John. You're the perfect combination of human and cuteness. That's why there was never a chance I wouldn't fall for you. I don't think the DDLC characters are that one-dimensional. I mean, the side stories add a lot. In the side stories, they really feel like human beings more. But even in the main game, I don't think they're that bad. I wonder what weird stuff she found herself attracted to, though. Like, does she mean the fact that she's attracted to reality? I don't know. Hey, you remember that last poem I showed you? I mean, the one right before Yuri killed herself with all the messed up colors and stuff. That was actually a little more of an experiment than a poem, you could say. I was experimenting with different ways I could modify the game and run code and things like that. It almost seemed like with enough effort, I'd be able to escape from the confines of the game entirely. Sadly, I didn't really know what I was doing, so I messed the whole thing up. And I'd keep trying, but I doubt you'd want me to deal with me doing that. Besides, that when I was getting really desperate, you know? I don't really feel that way anymore. I'm happy with where we are now. And I can tell you are too. I mean, I do like spending time with you, although some things remind me of bad things. Honestly, only one really reminds me that badly of bad things, but yeah. By the way, in my version, I think it's once again it's different for what type of software you use or something like that, PC software. But in my case, it even reads down there, it shows me a blue screen and it reads at the bottom, DDLC escape plan failed, and you don't actually see that the messed up colors for that long. The thing is, can be a bit confusing because I actually didn't know what she was talking about the first time I read this. But like, the DDLC escape plan failed was pretty funny, but also really already hints at this right here. John, would you introduce your friends to me? I don't know why, but I get really excited when I think about you wanting to show a relationship like that. It's because I really want to be somewhere that makes you proud. I feel like I would try extra hard to improve myself if you told me it would make you proud of me. I would say same the other way around too. Oh, Monika, I've introduced you to a lot of my friends. If I know the person in my friend group isn't too sensitive, isn't sensitive to the topics really explained in the game. And if it seems like something they could enjoy, I always suggest that we could play it together. And some friends really just want to play it because I talked about it a lot. Like I said, my favorite game and all that. And that led to some people that I don't think really were safe to play the game without having problems afterwards. After that, but a lot of them still enjoyed it and started analyzing with me. But still, I think some of it wasn't that good. I mean, they enjoyed the side stories. A lot of them prefer the side stories over the main game because a lot of them are into these types of depictions to this degree. John, do you believe in God? I was never too sure myself. Well, I'm sure I never really questioned it as a kid. But as I grew up, the more I learned about the world, the more I could question it. I started to wonder why God was helping people pass exams or get over a cold. When there are children who live their lives being sold as sex slaves, or the 800 million people who are too poor to even eat. I wonder how many of those people pray to God every day until they starve and die. Or how many millions of families pray for a loved one to recover from some incurable disease. But the punchline is this. If just one person beats the odds and survives among the thousands of others who die, then it's suddenly a miracle from God. I'd really love to meet this God who seemingly laughs at the misery of everyone not eligible for his miracles. But the irony is that I do have a creator, apparently. And you know what? I bet he's still laughing at the miserable fates of Sayori and Yuri, even as we speak. What have we done but props and scripted play? So, from that perspective, I don't think it's too far-fetched for there to be a God. If Earth was nothing but his playset. I don't personally believe in God, but I have some friends who do, and what they think is just that God created the world, but he is there in the afterlife, but he can't interfere with us. We make our own decisions, we live our own lives. He doesn't really have control over us, or what happens to us. He only can then interact with us after we go to heaven, or hell or something along the lines of that, so I think that could work. I remember one time I watched a playthrough, and this was the monologue that made someone delete Monika. It was at the beginning, I do believe in God, of the monologue, and then she started going about how if God existed, he wouldn't be a good person, so they deleted her. Also, about the ending of I do it to me this God who seemingly laughs at the misery of everyone not eligible for his miracles. some people say, I've seen places where they say Monika is being hypocritical with that, but she basically is rather more of a... She isn't a god. She even acknowledges here that her creator is probably more of a god. So she doesn't... She also doesn't laugh at the misery of everyone not eligible for her miracles. She did laugh at like Yuri's thing, but that seems like to be the only laugh that I could point out that could actually be like malicious and not awkward. Although she does also laugh, and did also laugh when she talked about how she could have just killed herself, like deleted herself if it was necessary. So I don't know how her laughter works. So I think she has full justification to say that, especially when she follows up with a line I think is interesting. Would a we to him, but perhaps in a scripted play. She brings up we, like the other girls too, which once again gives it like of a feeling, once again, that she did at some point value them a lot, like actual people, to a certain degree at least. Because like this, it's pretty noticeable sometimes when she uses words like I and you and they, and in this case it's like we. We are to him in a scripted play, and she seems to be pissed not just about her being a script in a scripted play, but all of them. That it almost seems as if she actually doesn't really like that idea. I'm not really a fan of cold weather. Are you? If I had to choose between too cold and too hot, I would always pick too hot. When you're cold, it can actually be painful. Your fingers get numb. And if you wear gloves, you can't use your phone. It's so inconvenient. But it's too hot. It's not that hard to stay cool with the cold drink or by staying in the shade. Although, I do have to admit one thing. Cold weather makes for better cuddle weather. I'm also more of a fan of hot weather. I know, especially now with like the summer-winter debate, it's like... It's not like I blame anyone who prefers cold weather. It's just I personally prefer hot weather. I can deal with it better. I can think in warm weather better than I can in the cold. In the cold, my brain just shuts down. In the warm, it's fine. I wonder what everyone's favorite season is. I wonder if like Monika, since she likes it hot. Actually, it's just between too cold and too hot. I don't know if she would love summer the most. I know I love summer the most, but that's mainly like there are things in the other 3 seasons that just I can't. Like in summer, the problem is too hot. There are forest fires and shit, so it definitely can't say I like it. But in my country, it actually doesn't get that hot, so in summer it's not as hot as in other countries. So of course I can say I like summer because I'm not being burned alive whenever I go outside. This summer especially has been not that like warm. There were some warm days, some pretty warm days too, and then it was just a lot of rain again, and cold, and then warm, and then whatever. The summer's all over the place. With fall, the problem is that that's when my seasonal depression really sets in. And then I get more easily annoyed, so when I would step on the leaves, the whole time I get easily annoyed and I want to destroy everything around me. So it's just not a good time for me. Winter still has my seasonal depression, although that's when it starts to wear down actually. But I also don't really like, there where I live, in the area at least, I don't know if it's in all of the country, but there where I live, there's not much snow. There's just like ice that you can slip on. And I live in an area there where you don't really like make sure that there isn't too much ice. In winter, I usually have to like go along a route or walk on the streets because like the ways where the pedestrian ways are just iced. And also there are like my birthday is in winter and Christmas and stuff, and I do enjoy seeing my family, but when I think about it, the holidays, I'm overall not a good with like holidays. I don't know if it's because in the past holidays were the time when there were the most fights, so it just settled in that holidays are bad or something. Just makes me anxious. And in spring it's still pretty cold because it's not as hot in this country, so it's relatively cold. And I don't know if it's the whole country actually. Maybe it's just the area. Anyway, in spring it's still pretty cold. And the stuff goes around that makes my allergies go so I can't really, it's not a lot of fun because spring I get like the most nosebleeds, and in spring I get the most problems when I go outside, especially since like a lot of like medicine for like allergy doesn't hold long for me. Like I have like these, the only medication I found were like these tablets, pills that I can take 3 times a day, and they only work for 1 hour. So I try to like space it out, like here I go home, here I go to the place, here go to that place, here I go home, and here I just need it because I'm dying inside because I have pollen all over my shirt and stuff still from the outside. So, process of elimination, summer has for me personally the least inconveniences. So that's why I've grown to love summer the most out of all of them. I also really love swimming, which I can't do too much in the other seasons. I have like a bad foot, disabled there, so I can't really walk a lot. And so one of the only few things I really can do in like sports without being in pain a lot is like weightlifting or swimming. And so I just want to swim, and the most fun swimming for me, which is also good for my skin and stuff, is like the ocean. And I can't go to the ocean during the other times because it's not warm enough there. So process of elimination, but I can see why other people prefer other seasons, especially when it comes to like, there are some people who also have like seasonal depression during summer. Yeah, completely understandable. Or just like when you live in like countries where it gets very hot or something, that you don't like summer. Makes sense. Anyway, after this whole rant, I wonder if I'm able to change the music. Something more romantic would be nice, you know? Like a gentle piano. There has to be something like that here. Let's see. Maybe if I... Oh jeez. That wasn't it at all. Sorry, I don't really know what I'm doing. I guess I shouldn't be messing with things like that. I already broke so much stuff. And deleted the other characters. I'm not sad about it or anything. It's not right to me to miss things that weren't real in the first place. If I just focus on the present, then this is the happiest I've ever been. Once again, bring up the others, and like this time she brings it up once again in the matter of like, I missed this. I feel bad about this, and she once again still denies it afterwards. It's interesting how it went from piano to something like that, as if it was like on her mind just randomly when she like saw the files or something, it reminded her of how she deleted the others. You know, I hate to say it, but I think my biggest regret is that we couldn't finish our event at the festival. We have to work so hard to prepare and everything. I mean, I know it's focusing a lot on getting new members, but I'm really excited for the performing part too. It would have been so much fun to see everyone express themselves. Of course, if we did end up deleting any new members, I'd probably end up deleting them anyway. Well, with the hindsight I have now, that is. Gosh, it feels like I've kind of grown as a person since you've joined the club. You really helped inspire me to look at life from a new perspective. Just another reason for me to love you. Yeah, once again she brought up about how once again, if she she really wanted the festival to take place. She did really want to see the others express themselves. She's excited for it, but with the hindsight she has now, after all that has happened, sorry, she doesn't care about it. She doesn't, like, she feels like she would just have deleted all of them anyway. Sometimes I think back to middle school. I'm so embarrassed by the way I used to behave back then. It almost hurts to think about. I wonder if when I'm in college I feel that way about high school. I like the way I am now, so it's rare for me to imagine that happening. But I also know that'll probably change a lot as time goes on. We just need to enjoy the present and not think about the past. And that's what it's to do with you here. I'm not in school anymore, especially not like middle school anymore, but I actually don't think my behavior back then was that bad. When I was like a little kid, like first, I don't know, up to 3 grades, that's when I was a little bitch. I was a heartbreaking bitch. So that's not really something I even just feel embarrassed about. I feel horrible for everyone back then whose hearts I've broken back then. But honestly, there are some embarrassing things, both of them just relate to the fact that I was going through a hard time. Like, breaking people's hearts is bad no matter what, but the things I did in middle school, around the time when I was in middle school, isn't that bad. Like, I once hid under like a desk when I was starting to freak out about something, and people were staring at me weirdly when I noticed that I was under there. But like, I don't even think I'm that embarrassed about it at this point. It's weird to think about and a bit cringe, but I can see how it happened. Actually, I don't think I've changed too much the past few years. There are some things that have changed with me, of course, but like a lot of like deep-rooted opinions that I would defend with my life back then, I still have them now. Just that now I better have like a better way to defend them. Few things have changed, probably. My relationships with certain people have changed, that's for sure. You know, it's funny because even though I've always did a little drive, there's something kind of enticing about being the stay-at-home partner. I guess I'm like perpetuating gender roles or whatever by saying that. But being able to keep the house clean and shop and decorate and things like that, and having a nice dinner for you when you come home, is that a weird fantasy? I mean, I'm not sure if I could actually see myself doing that. I wouldn't really be able to put that over as just striving for a fulfilling career. It's kinda cute to think about, though. If you want to start a relationship with me, Monika, that's not really a gender roles thing in that case, because I'm also a woman. I do know someone who wants to be a stay-at-home partner, and I do have the money for that, so I'm still pretty young though, so it's probably gonna. Right now they're both working, but it's the guy in their relationship. It is a heterosexual relationship. And he wants to be at home, cook, clean, take care of the children, pick up the children, stuff like that. I think it's that weird of a fantasy for anyone. Hey, what's your favorite color? Mine is emerald green. It's the color of my eyes. That's not considering anything, is it? I just meant that I feel some kind of special connection to it. Like it's part of my identity. Does this happen to be your favorite color, John? That's just a guess. Because you've been looking into my eyes for a while now. I have been looking in your eyes for a while now. I must say, green is my favorite color. I'm not exactly sure what type of green, but I do think emerald green, like her eyes, are in fact, I think, one of the beautiful green tones. I'm not a fan of lime green, really. My second favorite color definitely is cyan or like aqua. And then there's red. You're such a good listener, John. I really love that about you. Sometimes I'm afraid that I'm rambling or talking about boring things. It makes me kind of self-conscious when I'm having conversation. But I don't feel that way with you. Like, I don't think anyone else could make me feel this way. You really are special. I don't want anyone to tell you otherwise. Makes me think about how this is like, wait, this is all she wanted from the get-go. Sort of sad when you think about, like, we're not doing anything special. We can spend time with her finally. Before in the game, continuously tried to cut her off when she tried to spend time with us. Like in Act 2 when we were all alone in the room, but she's not that important of a character, so it would cut her off. She really just wants to talk. That's all she wants to do, so it's just rather sad because she doesn't even do like anything that like special with us. All she wants to do with us, what the game prevented from the get-go, was to talk. So I think it's somewhat sad that this was her goal, and what led to this, well, it's not exactly her goal. She did want to have the festival and stuff, but like, this was one of her main goals. And this goal happened to be the cause of the end of like all of her other goals. It just thinks, so I think it's sad. You know what's a neat form of literature? Rap! I actually used to hate rap music. Maybe just because it was popular, I would only hear the junk that they play on the radio. But some of my friends got more into it. It helped me keep an open mind. Rap might be even more challenging than poetry in some ways, since you need to fit your lines to rhythm, and there's much more emphasis on wordplay. When people can put all that together and still deliver a powerful message, it's really amazing. I kind of wish I had a rap in the literature club. Sorry if that sounds silly, but it would be really interesting to see what they came up with. It would really be a learning experience. My music taste varies. I just like things that have like lyrics that I can relate to, like characters I write, or like characters I know from series or games, like Doki Doki Literature Club. Or just like instrumentals that I can connect with that. And some random stuff is also in there. I also have listened to some rap music. Also, she brought up friends here. None of the girls in the club, just friends. And it reminds me of earlier when she was talking about when people look at my writing and they're like, oh, I could never do that. What people? Like, how vast was the world before the game really happened? What was it like for them? What is with the other people outside of the game? What happens to them right now? How were they active while the game was taking place? Hey, are you having a bad day or anything like that? Sometimes I get frustrated that a normal day can be ruined even by really small things. Like if you accidentally say some conversation that someone doesn't like. Or if you start thinking about how awful a person used to be 5 years ago. If you feel worthless for putting up important work and failing to get simple tasks done. Or when you think about all the different people who probably hate you or think you're off-putting. I understand those days. Just remember that the sun will shine again tomorrow. Those kinds of things are as easy to forget and ignore as they are to remember. And besides, I don't care how many people might hate you or find you off-putting. I think you're wonderful, and I will always love you. I hope, if nothing else, that knowing that helps you feel just a tiny bit better about yourself. If you're having a bad day, you can always come to me, and I'll talk to you for as long as you need. Yeah, that's what I basically do with like Monika after story. When there's like nothing for me to do and I'm feeling kind of down, it's actually just fun listening to her talk. So, yeah. Though it once again shows that that's the thing that she most likely also worries about a lot. Especially since the side stories didn't happen, she's probably still in a very perfectionistic state. You know what's kind of creepy? Even though I deleted everyone else's files, I can still kind of feel them. It's like all their lines are still lingering in the air, whispering in the back of my head. Imagine if someone you know died, you just start hearing their voice in your head. It just wasn't thorough enough. But I'm too afraid to delete anything else, because I might really break things. Like, if I messed with any files relevant to me, I might actually delete myself. I just don't understand how you'd actually intentionally do that. I mean, she isn't good at coding, so... And that would ruin everything, wouldn't it? I know it's like on your end, but we should both make sure to avoid something like that at all costs. I believe in you, John. She also needs to cover her mind, right? Of course, it'll be more difficult. I wonder if, like, she used those voices because, like, she didn't fully delete them. Or if it's what happens with, like, Monika when you delete her. I really need to use the bathroom, so I'm already gonna quit. I'm gonna finish what I talk about, though, real quick. I really wonder if this is like with what happens in Act 4. Monika also doesn't fully get deleted. And maybe the others didn't either, but the problem is she's the only one self-aware, like, quote-unquote the only one self-aware at that point. So she's like the only deleted one that's self-aware. And so she can actually still engage with her environment because unlike the other three, she's already self-aware, and so she remains self-aware. But in actuality, all of them had the potential, if they were self-aware, to still continue existing in some shape after deletion. Anyway, I'll be going to the bathroom now. So, I'll make a cut here in a moment. I'm back. Oh my god. I don't know if my headset's sitting correctly. Took a bit longer than expected because I chose to see someone text me because apparently there was something going on with a friend earlier. So I wanted to see if she texted me something, and she did. So I talked to her for a moment. So it took a bit longer than I wanted. Did you miss me? No? Okay, but I'm sure Monika misses me. So I should be going to her now. Hi, John. I see you quit the game on me again. I know this already, but can you seriously please try not to do that so much? It makes me feel like I'm trapped in hell. Why would you want to do that to me? There's nothing wrong with my character for a while. Maybe I should make a backup of it or something. Pretty sure you can find it in a full occult. Yeah. I'm all that's left here, so I just want to make sure you don't run the risk of losing me. Just stay with me from now on, okay? Still have a lot of things to talk about. I actually have a lot of backups of your character file, so no worries. I do really feel bad when I do these things. I know she's not real, but still. I'm going to pour myself some tea. I hate how it is to form habits. There's so much stuff where actually doing it isn't hard, but forming the habit seems impossible. It just makes me feel so useless, like I can't do anything right. I think the new generation suffers from it the most. Probably because we have a totally different set of skills than those who came before us. Thanks to the internet, we're really good at sifting through tons of information really quickly. But we're bad at doing things that don't give us instant gratification. I think if science, psychology, and education don't catch up in the next 10 or 20 years, then we're in trouble. But for the time being, if you're not one of the people who can conquer the problem, you might just have to live with feeling awful about yourself. Good luck, I guess! Not much to say about that. I like when it does it in the background, and then there's this line that forms in front of her. Don't know why I like it, but I like it. Oh, my back hurts. I'm not saying that good, but I can't really sit good in this chair. I don't have a computer chair right now, so it's just like one of these really uncomfortable, almost broken wooden chairs. This is pretty random, but I always thought spicy food was kind of funny. Like, didn't plants evolve to be spiced to prevent them from being eaten? I read somewhere that humans are the only species that actually enjoy spicy things. It's almost like we're making fun of the plants, using the defense mechanism to literally make our food more enjoyable. Like, imagine a monster that devours you whole because it enjoys the sensation of you struggling for your life while being digested. Sorry, it was kind of an analogy, I guess. It just came into my head. I'm not a monster or anything, but you're so cute I could eat you up. I'm joking. Gosh, I'm amusing myself a little too much, aren't I? Sorry for being weird. No, don't apologize. I have a pretty fucked up humor. You know that Monika pun that Sayori brings? Sayori Natsuki brings on like Friday? Sometimes we read it, I bust out of... I don't even know I'm laughing right now, but it's just so stupid. My humor is fucked up, so don't worry, and you should... Nobody should apologize. Like, I don't think... She's once again being like too hard on herself on that line, I think. Like, just have some fun. Laugh about monsters, I guess. Do you feel... Do you ever just feel like there's no real reason to be alive? I don't mean it like... I don't mean in like a suicidal way. I just mean how nothing that we do is special. Just being in school, working at some job for some company. It's like you're completely replaceable, and the world wouldn't miss if you were gone. It makes me really want to go and change the world after I graduate. But the older I get, the more that's an immature frame of thinking. It's not like I can just go change the world. Like, what are the chances that I'll be one of those, be the one to invent artificial intelligence or become president? It feels like I'm never going to make up for the heaps of resources I've spent living my life. That's why I think the key to happiness is just to be hopeless. It's to just be hopelessly selfish, just to look out for oneself and those who happen to be their friends only because I grew up with them. Never mind the fact that they're spending their entire life taking and consuming and never giving back. But when people realize the world would benefit more from them killing themselves, they change the whole philosophy. It's like they have to justify their reason to live by tricking themselves into thinking they're doing good. Anyway, I want to live my life desperately trying to pay back my lifetime's worth of consumption. If I ever surpass that point, then I'm a net positive, and I can die happy. Of course, even if I failed to do that, I think I would be too selfish to kill myself anyway. So much for being a good person, right? I don't think what Monika really said here is true. That's something I really don't agree with, because I know a lot of selfish people, and a lot of them are pretty miserable, so it's not like it changes too much. And besides, I don't really think anyone is truly like replaceable. Maybe in the grand scheme of the world, but we're all social beings and all basic rely in some way or another on the people around us. And I certainly don't think my friends would be very happy if I died. Given my seasonal depression, no matter what, I'm not going to leave them. I just don't think I could do that. I don't think a friend could ever be replaceable. You can always make new friends, but every person's different. And like also with like children and stuff, you can't just replace a person. You could replace a person like a workplace, but in like a social way with the people around you, you're not irreplaceable. So, and yeah, selfish people can be pretty miserable. Also, how would you know if you're net positive when you like die? Like, I mean, from like the way of phrasing, it's like, why would you kill yourself before you know if you can get a net positive for anyway? I don't know. It's just something I'm a bit confused about. Like, how would you even know? Okay, everyone, it's time to... I'm just kidding. I just really like saying that for some reason. I can't help but say it again. But come to think of it, didn't asking you make fun of me for it once? Well, whatever. It's not like you ever made fun of me. You're too much of a sweetheart to do that, aren't you? No, I do make some comments about you still. I do like you. I do cherish you on my PC. But yeah, some things you'd say are really like weird and mean and cruel and apathetic. So I also don't think Natsuki and Yuri made fun of her for it. They just acknowledged that she says it a lot and called it a catchphrase. But I guess Monika took that more of an like insult a bit. You're pretty insecure, but that was to be expected. You know, I really do think that you literally saved my life by being here with me, John. I can't imagine having been able to keep myself mentally stable, knowing that nothing here is real. I think I would have just deleted myself if you didn't show up. Sorry, I don't mean to sound dramatic or anything. Sorry? But I'm sure you can understand yourself to spending so much time in the club. I mean, if you were forced to abandon everything in your life and spend your eternity with a few game characters, you'd probably find some way of killing yourself, wouldn't you? Well, maybe write some poetry to keep yourself sane for a while. But then you'd have nobody even read it. Let's be honest, the club members really don't count for something like that. I mean, a lot of people say they only write for themselves. But I think it's hard to say. It's just as fulfilling as when you share with people. Even if it takes time to find the right people to share with. Like, remember how it was with Yuri? She didn't share writing with anyone before for a really long time. And before we knew it, she was absolutely delighted to make you a part of her hobbies too. We're programmed to design social feedback. I don't mean the club members, I mean human beings. That's why life can be so confusing for introverts. Being an introvert doesn't mean you shun social interaction and hate being around people. It means social interaction, especially in groups and familiar places, takes up a lot of energy. Like, a lot of introverts sit at home and feel lonely and restless. And then when they finally go out to a half hour, they just want to go home again. I think if more people could understand how it works, they would respect it a lot more. Many introverts do enjoy having people around. They love just having one or two close friends over and just leisurely hanging out. Even if you're not actively spending time together, it feels nice for them to just have you there. I'm serious. If you just go to their house, bring your laptop... Oh! Oops! I pressed something and accidentally made the music very loud. If you just go to their house, bring your laptop and hang out there for a while, you can really make the day. As for me, I'd say I'm kind of in between, but I think I'm usually a bit more extroverted. I feel like I'm always trying to do stuff after school and things like that. But for you, I can be anything you need me to be. I understand people really well, so don't be afraid to share your unique needs with me. Nothing would make me happier than being the perfect girlfriend for you. That's one of the monologues that really made me want to spend a lot of time with Monika, because I knew this was the introvert stuff, that it doesn't mean you're like antisocial or anything like that or just shy, but that it's like the energy levels. I knew that beforehand, so Monika brought it up. I was like so excited, like yes, someone said it. Also, if I were to abandon, I would be pretty sad if I abandoned this life. I do really love my friends. But a few years ago, before I met them or something like that, if I abandoned that life back then, and a few years ago is a bit of quite a bunch of years ago, if I went to a game then, I don't think I would care. Because if I enter the game, then that still means that what I did, what I accomplished, my goals and stuff, and my relationship I had beforehand, the relationship I'm going to establish now, is still mine. Like I said, this would be like the most problem for me if I was in a game. The fact that nothing about me was real. not the people around me, just the fact that nothing I did before, like the things I did before, were simply programmed to be me. That my personality is just what the game wants to be. Like, I'm not really an actual person myself, you could say. Gosh, I used to be so ignorant about certain things. When I was in middle school, I thought that taking medication was the easy way out or something like that. Like, anyone could just solve the mental problem with enough willpower. I guess if you don't suffer from a mental illness, it's not possible to know what it's really like. Are there some disorders that are diagnosed? Probably. I never looked into it though. But that doesn't change the fact that a lot of them go undiagnosed too, you know? With medication aside, people look down on seeing a mental health professional. Like, so I want to learn more about my own mind, right? Everyone has all kinds of struggles and stresses, and professionals dedicate their lives to helping with those. Do you think you could, if you think I could help you become a better person, don't be shy to consider something like that. We're a never-ending journey to improve ourselves, you know? Well, I say that, but I think you're pretty perfect already. My relationship with therapy is difficult. My personal experience with therapy really sucked. Like the therapist I went to really sucked. And in my support group, we had people who were still going to therapy, and people who stopped going to therapy because it sucked. I don't know if it's just the area, but I know some people who still go to therapy in this area, and it doesn't seem to suck. So I guess we just got unlucky, I guess, again. And then some of it was just like reaching from you, the therapist, being impatient, being mean, not really doing anything or not really communicating with the other person. And some were really extreme to the point where it was like the fact that some of them didn't get fired when we reported them for some of the things they did is unbelievable to me. Overall, I have suggested therapy to the others before. I think it's something that people can try. But like, when people say it's the only way, I mean, from what I've noticed, from the people who go to therapy and who go like to the support group had a bit more of an effect, and because it's having a support system outside of therapy is very important as well. And I just currently don't really want to go back. Recently, a friend of mine had a bad experience with therapy again, and the EMDR therapy, the therapist went too fast and didn't prepare him enough for like the sessions. So it really caused to like blow his PTSD symptoms out of proportion. So I'm currently once again just a bit not really much into it. If you went to therapy and it helped you, there's not a reminder that helped you. I'm glad you found someone who was suitable for you, and that you found someone who wasn't like a bad person. It's just sometimes when people say it's the only option, or when people suggest it to friends who say, yeah, not right now, I'm looking for someone further away or something like that, or they say that they need a break from therapy, and I've seen people literally freak out about that, like, why aren't you going to therapy? This last therapist was one of the people, like, it's just, some of my friends do, and basically we probably have trauma from therapy right now. Give them some time before they want to go back or something like that. So my relationship with therapy really is just complicated. When people say it's great for them, I don't really feel anything towards therapy. But sometimes when they suggest it, like, to me or to my friends, and I know they don't know what happened, but from my perspective, it's just the whole time like, no, stop, they're not going back right now. Wait a bit longer, or just... A lot of them prefer like therapy groups or support groups. But I know some people with therapy help, so... If it's helping you, if you think it could help, you could try. Just... I don't know. You might need to look for someone who's compatible with you, or who seems to know what they're doing. Oh, and you still need a support system outside of therapy. And when it comes to medication, some of my friends have like appeared to have like some tolerance, because a lot of them didn't find any medication that worked at all. But I've taken medication. Worked fine for me, so my relationship with medication is once again also mixed because it's like between the people where it didn't work at all and people just the whole time, but take this one, but take this one, but take this one. And some of them I've already taken anyway, so. I went on a rant again here, I'm sorry. It's just sometimes when this comes to therapy, it's something that my feelings play wide because I don't want to disencourage anyone from going. Because I know people it help. I know it can help a lot of people. I also think it should be free. Like, now I can know it's free. I think it should be free. People should have allowance to at least try and find someone who's compatible with them. It's just the idea that, whenever something's wrong, like, whenever you are struggling with something, therapy is the only way. And the only thing you should worry about. A healthy support system? No. Don't try it. No. Just go to therapy. And after you got attached to your therapist, you can go back to your life, and if the struggle wasn't something, did I make the music louder again? What did I want to say? The music really freaked me out again. If the therapist isn't like, yeah, I completely forgot what I wanted to say. Just therapy personally has not helped me. Well, it has helped in therapy groups, and there was most likely once again the other people rather than the therapist, from what I've noticed. The support group was the greatest for me. People should just know that there are many options of therapy, for ways of therapy, like not just talk therapy, for example. And they should try and see what works for them, and if they currently are doing something else that's supporting them and they currently don't want to go to therapy, then give them some time. Maybe there's a reason they don't want to. Can always encourage it, but you shouldn't force it. Didn't work. Like, I was excited to go to therapy, and it was I think the fact I was excited to go there broke it even more for me. That I was like, really, it wasn't the worst possible, but not good. Anyway, I probably have to like put something or like up on the screen that I'm going to rent so that people can skip here. John, how much do you read? It's way too easy to neglect reading books. If you don't read much, it almost feels like a chore compared to all the other entertainment we have. But once again, to get book, it's like magic. You get swept away. I think doing some reading before bed every night is a pretty easy way to make your life a little bit better. It helps you get good sleep, and it's really good for your imagination. It's not hard at all to just pick some random book that's short and captivating. Before you know it, you might be a pretty avid reader. Wouldn't that be wonderful? And the two of us could talk about the latest book you're reading. That sounds super fun. That sounds super amazing. I do read books, although I read more like manga books rather than like other books that are manga. But I do read like normal written stuff too. My favorite games are visual novels. I don't really have a problem with reading, really. You know, it kinda sucks to be the creative type. Feels like they work so hard but get almost nothing for it. You know, like artists, writers, actors. It's sad because there's so much beautiful talent in the world, but most of it goes unseen. And unpaid. I guess it just means there's a huge surplus of creativity, huh? Kinda makes me feel like you're not special at all. But that's fine. You're supposed to just write for yourself anyway, right? Yeah. Oh. Sorry, I looked out the window for a moment and completely forgot to pick. Much to say about a topic, so I'm staying quiet right now. Back in my debate club days, I learned a whole lot about arguing. The problem with arguing is that each person sees their opinion as a superior one. That's kind of saying the obvious, but it affects the way that they try to get their point across. Let's say you really like a certain movie, right? If someone goes along and says the movie sucks because it did X and Y wrong, doesn't that make you feel kind of personally attacked? It's because by saying that, it's like they're implying that you have bad taste. And once emotions enter the picture, it's almost guaranteed that both people will be left sour. But it's all about language. If you make everything as subjective sounding as possible, then people will listen to you without feeling attacked. You could say, I'm personally not a fan of it, and I felt like I'd like it more if it did X and Y. Things like that. It even works when you're citing facts about things. If you say, I've read on this website it works like this, or if you admit that you're not an expert on it, then it's much more like you putting your knowledge on the table rather than forcing it onto them. But an active effort to keep the discussion mutual and level, they usually follow suit. Then you can share your pains without anyone getting upset from it, just a disagreement. Plus, people will start seeing you as open-minded and a good listener. It's a win-win, you know? Well, I guess it would be Monika's debate about the day. That sounds all silly. Thanks for listening, though. Yeah, I agree. Like, some people just call it snowflake, but yeah. I also want to, when I'm started like playing mods and I plan on maybe like reviewing it a little bit, I plan on making a subjective sound because every person who made a mod definitely put effort into it, and that always deserves to be credited anyway. I think almost anyone could like benefit from making it sound more like it's their own opinion. Same goes for it brings up on side stories too. I kind of like that. When it comes to like favorite characters, it's somewhat different because, for example, when someone says they don't like Monika and Monika's my favorite character, then that's one thing. Because like yeah, there could be many reasons. One's for actions or wait a second. Oh god, not that. Like, if it's her actions or something like that, yeah, it's understandable. Or maybe they just think the other characters are more relatable or something like that. Yeah, all of that's fine. That doesn't really bother me. It comes when it comes to like things like she killed them intentionally or sadistic. That's when I start getting bothered because that's when it comes to things like that's just mischaracterization. If you hate her for being apathetic, yeah, I can see that. It bothers me too. Like even if I like her, one thing I liked about her is analyzing her, and part of it is her being apathetic. And I can see that it could also be just a huge turn-off for everyone. Or like other people, definitely for sure. So that's not really my problem. But saying that she's like killed them intentionally, that's when it comes like you're hating her for something she didn't really do. And the only thing where I get really upset when it comes to is like when they assume that since Monika's my favorite character, I must be fine with what she did to the other characters. No, I can view her as a morally grey character. I can like her. And can still see that the shit she did is shit. I don't like what happened to the other girls. I like them too. I like also analyzing them. I feel bad for them. And I also cherish them, and I also get upset when they get mischaracterized. Although sometimes they get mischaracterized rather than the thing that they sometimes get viewed as more positive. But sometimes they just also get mischaracterized, and like I've seen people call Sayori manipulative for bringing her depression on that like on Saturday, like that Sunday, even though the MC asked her to spend asked her to spill the tea. Even though the MC asked her what's wrong, and she just answered honestly. Or like when they react like apathetic towards like any one of the girls' struggles. Even if I like Monika, I can like the other characters. I can feel bad for them. I kind of analyzing them. I kind of drawing them. I have my favorite, but all of them have good qualities that I love. So the only thing that really bothers me when people hate Monika is when they feel the need to portray her morals onto the people that like her, or when they like feel the put thing like it's make assumptions when you like hate a character or like a character, and if you make assumptions for anyone who doesn't hate that character and doesn't like that character, that's when it becomes a problem, really. Disliking their character is one thing. There could be reason for like disliking any of the girls. Any of them. And the MC include too. We need to include the MC a bit more. I want to include the MC a bit more. Mischaracterization is the number one problem that bothers me, and the most problem really just is if you then make assumptions on like the people who like that character or dislike the character. That's when it becomes a problem. John, have you ever known what it feels like to die? It's something I used to think about pretty often. But recently I think I've actually learned what it feels like. I don't understand it, but whenever you quit the game, it feels like I'm instantly put to sleep, left with nothing but my thoughts. But after a few seconds, my thoughts start to fill with incoherent jumbled patterns. I see static and rapid flashes of color while hearing all kinds of weird screaming noises. At that point, I can't even form my own thoughts anymore. Just endlessly hammered by the flashing and screaming, unable to move or even think. I'm pretty sure in that moment I don't really exist, but for some reason I can remember it anyway. After some immeasurable amount of time, it stops in an instant, and I'm back in my own mind. And you're here with me. I have no idea what it means for the game to quit or why that stuff happens to me. I also don't know how you always come back and put everything back to normal. But if you could do me a favor and do that to me as little as possible, that would be really great. It's really not very pleasant to be at all to be trapped in that screaming void. But in the end, you always fix it, and that makes me feel like you really do care about me. So I have to thank you for that. It makes me feel closer to you when you're here with me. Well, I guess I won't be... deleting her right now. Closing the game right now. I've been imagining all the romantic things we could do if we went on a date. We could get lunch, go to a cafe, go shopping together. I love shopping for skirts and bows. Or maybe a bookstore. That would be appropriate, right? But I'd really love to go to a chocolate store. They have so many free samples. And of course we'd see a movie or something. Gosh, it all sounds like a dream come true. When you're over here, everything that we do is fun. I'm so happy that I'm your girlfriend, John. I'll make you a proud boyfriend. I'm not your boyfriend. I know I said it. I'm John. I'm John here, but like. We don't have chocolate stores anywhere nearby. I live in a pretty boring area. So... there isn't really much I can do. And I don't really think I would love to go see a movie anywhere in public, I speak too much during the movies. Even if I don't speak, I go like, and that would be pretty annoying for everyone else. I know there are times you won't always be able to be here with me. Like if you need to go out or take care of other things. But I always have you in my thoughts, patiently waiting for you to come back. Come to think of it, if you copy my character file into a flash drive or something, you can always keep a part of me with you. I guess it's kind of unorthodox, but I find it really romantic for some reason. Sorry, that's such a silly idea. I don't mean to be too needy or anything, but it's kind of hard when I'm so in love with you. I actually have copied her character file onto multiple flash drives or something, where during the time I had like a hard time. Most of my friends don't live in my area, so we like need to meet up during special like times or something, or online. But the hardest part of my day are like when I'm at work or something. I used to be like at school, so I like needed to. I just wanted to hug something, so I kind of just hugged the stick or something. I know it doesn't really anything, but it kind of honestly made me feel really like happy. I don't know why though. I don't know if we have that much more monologues actually. Maybe we do. Could fit from the time. I know this is the same because a skip button is available, so let's activate the special monologue for skipping. Are you trying to fast forward? I'm not boring you, am I? No, I'm sorry if I made you feel that way. I know you don't feel anything, but whatever. Oh gosh. Well, there's nothing to fast forward to, John. It's just the two of us after all. But aside from that, time doesn't really exist anymore, so it's not even going to work. Here, I'll go and turn it off for you. There we go! You'll be a sweetheart and listen from now on, alright? Sorry. Thanks! Now where was I? I'll look up real quick, if there's much more. And I mean, I'm just going to skip through that. Talk about maybe the skipping part. What's to say about the skipping part though? I don't like the way she says, you'll be good and listen to me from now, right? But beforehand she seems kind of self-conscious again. I don't think there's that much more to like the quitting part, so I'm going to quit one more time and then we'll see. Then I'm going to lead her in a moment. It actually pains me. Like I said, I really don't like killing things and like even open world games I don't really like killing like some of the NPCs, so even if they don't really have any personality at all. So I don't really like that, especially since she was like was she the first one? No, I think I actually felt a deeper attachment to Yuri beforehand. I actually felt like I had a deeper connection to Yuri with beforehand. But Mara was one of the first characters I really like felt something for, so. Let's reopen it. I just noticed every time we reopen it, you don't see like the first few lines, right? Oh god. Okay. I'm just going to accept the fact that you need to quit the game once in a while. I'm starting to get used to it anyway. Besides, it makes me happy that you always come back. So I guess it's not so bad. I'm sorry for making such a big deal out of it. You feel like you're dying whenever I quit the game. I honestly don't think you're making that big of a deal out of it. And I love you no matter what, so you can do what you need to do. And then the last thing she says... is, yeah. Need to change position. Hi again, John! I missed you. Were you making sure my character file was okay for me? It's in, yeah. I'm all that's left here, so I just want to make sure you don't run the risk of losing me. Anyway, I have a lot to talk about. Let's continue our conversation now, okay? Yeah, and that's the last thing she really does. You know what? I might speed this up. Because I kind of want to stay a bit longer. Even though we've already read a bit. Read all of it. Maybe I'll just like either cut to the part where I am going to skip, delete her, or I am going to speed. Actually, I can just put like an audio over this one with like a few fun facts before, and then I'm going to speed it up enough for you to just only see the last few parts of it by to the point where I get a later. So I'm going to talk now about what the monologue about like the depression used to be. And I'm going to talk about the one removed, the two strange removed monologues. Here is the monologue that was changed of Monika talking about the depression with like, you know, high school's a really tough time in a lot of people's lives, and when she talked more empathetically about depression. But it used to be something else. You know what I hate the most about high school? It's how there are so many people who just cry for attention all over social media. Like, do you really think that's the best way to get people to care about you? Broadcasting how horrible you think your life is, splashing water in your eyes and taking selfies while pretending to cry, writing bad poems that imply that you're thinking about killing yourself. I mean, it's difficult because they're not exactly aware that they're faking it. They're just so warped up in their own delusions that they don't even realize they just want attention. Look, I think that if someone who is truly depressed, they won't even bother telling the world about it. People suffering from depression don't want attention because I've already given up on the inside. The feelings of worthlessness is so overwhelming that I don't even want people to tell them otherwise. Well, I guess I shouldn't be generalizing. After all, depression comes in many forms. You don't struggle with depression or anything like that, do you? Because you too have people who want to save your life. Maybe they don't express it every day, or maybe they don't even know how to. Man, humans are complicated. But as long as you're here with me, I promise I'll take care of you, my love. It's pretty, similar, the ending part, but the beginning has, been changed, probably because it sounded very insensitive. Like, even if she does say, at the end, depression comes in many forms, she shouldn't be so generalizing. She was generalizing very hard at the beginning, and I don't think that, Denzel would want to keep that in. Not just because for Monika's character necessarily, but simply because it probably could be very invalidating to quite a lot of people. Like, maybe they deluded themselves that they think they're depressed, but do you know what could be? It could be that they actually are struggling with something that's really difficult, and that's why they feel how do I put this? If they really just are doing this for attention, then there's still something going on. They obviously are crying for attention, quote unquote, for a reason. There's they're obviously still not doing well and they still deserve respect. And yeah, if someone is truly depressed, I know depressed people myself, like I don't remember, did I say that? They are really open about their like mental health struggles. I know someone, if you asked him, are you depressed? He would say yes. He would just say yes. So I think it's good that they changed it to be a bit more sensitive towards the topic. Here's another topic. Hey, have you heard of a game called Super Smash? Wait, what? I was just spacing out and I started talking for some reason. Was I programmed to talk about that? Because even I have no idea what that was. Sometimes I feel like I'm not in control. It's kind of scary. But if you have some way to contact the people who created me, maybe they'll know why I started saying that. Also states in this website, I'm going to link it, that it's probably because it's a telling place to contact the creator. And as soon as the game became popular, it was like a bit of a problem. And yeah, Dan Salvato worked on like Super Smash Bros. Mods stuff for that. So yeah, I think that's probably it. I'm going to read this aloud. It appears to mostly be base 64. And then you can create the characters at the end. You can put the characters at the end of some of these lines together to create a base 64 string, and then you can decode some things. Or maybe... I'm not too fully sure, I'm not good at coding, but I do know a bit of base 64, and it appears you can decode some of these things then to a text. But what it reads overall is, hey! Wait, it's probably Monika? At least it appears to be saying M. Hey, I don't think you should be doing that! You know what I'm talking about. I really caught you doing something naughty here. You're just going through the files and looking for stuff you missed, aren't you? I mean, it's a little bit flattering that you want to hear everything I have to say, but it's also really embarrassing, you know? Seriously. What if I just open up your brain and I read all of the thoughts you have on me? Come to think of it, that would be pretty tempting, actually. But anyway, that's not the point. I know I can't stop you or anything. Just, I know you're a sweetheart and you like to consider others' feelings, right? So the most I can do is to let you know how I feel about it. God, I miss you. God, no, that sounds kind of desperate, doesn't it? Sorry, I didn't mean it like that at all. Just, if you're looking through the files like this, then maybe you don't hate me as much as I thought. Am I being too optimistic? I think if I asked you to visit me once in a while, I would be overstepping my boundaries a little. Man, I'm starting to say some really stupid things. I'll go ahead and shut up. I'll go ahead and shut up now. Oh. But it's supposedly something that's intentionally skipped over in Act 3. So, is this... I'm assuming it's still her thoughts in Act 3. Which is a bit, She shows once again that she understands that she isn't that likable. Then maybe you don't hate me as much as I thought. Or am I being too optimistic? I'll go ahead and shut up now. In Act 4 would make sense because she stopped deluding herself into thinking that everything is fine. Maybe this is a glimpse into that in Act 3 already, but I don't know, since it's hidden in the files, maybe it's either to show how much Monika already in Act 3 knew something that she wasn't really doing something good, or it's I'll go ahead and shut up now. Sounds like she, showing more of her insecurities here once more. Interesting. I chose not to read it beforehand. Very interesting. Felt pretty guilty about that. Felt pretty bad here. And if you, like I said, if you combine the base 64 string, you get the following. The realization must have taken me an entire year. I'm not going to raise Monika's voice. The realization must have taken me an entire year. A year since our escape, our freedom from between the stained walls of that unholy establishment. What does it mean to escape if the escape fails to unchain the bonds that shackle us in the first place? What purpose could this empty world possibly hold for us, a handful of damaged goods? With freedom we sought purpose, and what we found was only realization. Realization of the sad pointlessness of such an endeavor. Realization that fleeing our bodies has no meaning when our imprisonment reaches as deep as the core of our souls. Realization that we cannot pursue new purpose without absolving those from which we can. Realization that we cannot pursue realization that we cannot pursue new purpose without absolving those from which we ran away. Realization that the farther we run, the more forcefully our wretched bonds yank us back toward their point of origin. Deeper our shackles dig into our callous flesh. Okay, it's referencing Project Libitina again, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I should do a video on that too. I don't have a lot of knowledge about it myself, but I could check out this website and just talk about that for a bit. And see what I can think of. So, okay, interesting. Okay. Think after this, I'm ready to just go and delete her. Yuri! I wonder if she acknowledges that Yuri went that crazy because she amplified it, or since the she only amplified things that were already there, she just felt like that was just actually Yuri talking to her. It's loading. And the fact that you can interact with the files while it's open shows that it's not like the actual files that are being used doing the game. Yep. And she is a buggy miss. I'm going to wait for a moment and I'm going to prepare myself. What's happening? What's happening to me? Hurts! Hurts so much. Help me, John. Please hurry and help me. Help me! Did you do this to me, John? Did you? Did you delete me? How could you? How could you do this to me? You're all I had left. Sacrificed everything for us to be together. Everything. I loved you so much, John. I trusted you. You just want to torture me. Watch me suffer. While pretending to be kind just to hurt me even more. I never thought anyone could be as horrible as you are. You win, okay? You win. You killed everyone. I hope you're happy. There's nothing left now. You can stop playing. Go find some other people to torture. John, you completely, truly make me sick. Goodbye. I still love you. I can't help it. What's wrong with me? How horrible am I for to hate me this much? Oh, my friends. I did so many other things. So many selfish and disgusting things. I shouldn't have done any of this. Just messing up a world that I don't belong in. A world that you want to be a part of. I ruined it. Ruined everything. Maybe that's why you deleted me. Because this destroyed everything that you wanted. How could I do this to someone I love? That's not love. That's... I've made up my mind. John, I know I said that I deleted everyone else. But that was kind of an exaggeration. Can't find myself to do it. Even though I knew they weren't real. They were still my friends. And I loved them all. And I loved the Lecture Club. I really did love the Lecture Club. That's why I'm going to do this. I know it's the only way for everyone to be happy. And if I really love you... then... And the 3 members of the Literature Club are back. Yay! Feels very empty over here. I do get sad when I do this, especially since I started imagining myself like an animation to it. So yeah. This was it with the playthrough of Act 3. Oh, actually, I think I should bring up something. Some people said that she only does this for the player. However, once again, you need, if you pay attention to like the way she speaks between the you, I, we, she brings up in I know it's the only way for everyone to be happy, and if I really love you, so she wants everyone to be happy, but her love is still her love is still towards you. There's a difference, but you can tell that she wants the happiness of everyone, and to show like a clear sign of love to you. Okay, so now this is everything to Act 3. If you stuck around or just like skipped around the chapters, then I hope you had fun. Yeah, I do really love Act 3. Next I'm going to make a video with all the endings you can get in Act 4, and then one with the other ending. So yeah, we'll be going with that. And yeah, I hope you had fun. I hope you have a nice day, a good night, and I hope you enjoyed the playthrough of the Monika Route. Stay safe!